Hey everybody, welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. We are getting started here with our not Eberron, holy shit. We're getting started with our Spelljammer game. So I have
Restart.
restart, yeah, start over, delete that from memory. No, we're getting started with our Spelljammer campaign today. This is going to be session 4, not counting our session 0. We're getting started a little late because I have been doing some crazy work stuff in the background. So I apologize to my players. I may be a little distracted as I have to babysit a few things for work, but we're gonna get started here with our game. And basically, just a kind of quick, introduction. If you're new to the channel, we are I guess, an actual play channel. What probably the best way to describe it, that we sit down and we actually play through campaigns, we play through modules, we do homebrew stuff. I actually run a homebrew campaign, which I just mentioned, Eberron. It's every other Monday, opposite to Spelljammer. But this campaign that I'm running is the Spelljammer module, the Light of Xaryxis. And I have been running it so far extremely faithfully, partly because I'm very busy. So I've been sort of trusting the module and just letting things play out with this great group of players, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it. So if you are new to the channel, though, a couple things worth pointing out. We have a very vibrant Discord. I'll pop the chat thing in there. I'm sure people have seen it before, but please come by, hang out with us in the Discord. One of the cool things with the Discord, besides discussing D&D and all kinds of different tabletop role-playing games with a bunch of really fun people, new people, what's the term? Grognard? What's the term for, like, that's probably offensive, right? So,
I don't think it's flattering.
That sounds offensive. Yeah, so I'll toss it out. So the gray beards, that's the nice way to say it. Or is that also, never mind. Anyways, we got a bunch of old veterans in there. We got a bunch of new people. Come hang out, but also we run a community campaign on the channel. So if you like the way that we play, you like our kind of vibe and our style of DMing, our style of playing, pretty much everyone you see here is someone who's played in a community game or played in some kind of a community organized game. But our community game, we draw from players with just as long as you're part of the community, you don't have to have any kind of buy-in or anything like that. You just come play, and there are multiple DMs that run it, but it's all in the same setting. So in that setting, it's in Greyhawk. I think technically the Greyhawk setting, right? Or do we still have kind of a mix between Mystara and Greyhawk? Okay, cool. So it's in the Greyhawk setting, and it's basically like aftermath of Temple of Elemental Evil and leading into Princes of the Apocalypse. So it's a fun little group. I think we had something like 40 players at the peak at one point. I don't know where we stand with the current group, but that's what we're all about. So I mean, not all about, but we're largely about. So coming on the Discord and playing the community campaign. However, today we are playing Spelljammer, and very specifically the Light of Xaryxis session 4, called A Friend Indeed. So I'll give a little recap for the party just to get them up to speed, and then we're going to jump into it. So for the party, we last session ended on a cliffhanger, because every session ends on a cliffhanger. If you haven't picked that up by now, that's the design. And you were exploring a derelict nautiloid. So basically, you discovered this derelict ship. It was a mind flayer ship, and you were trying to figure out, like, hey, is there some... Actually, you're kind of bullied by Captain Sartel into, like, hey, we got to salvage this because I need to get something valuable out of this horrible experience we've been on, this whole journey. And so you went into the nautiloid to see if there's anything worth getting, magic items, and you discovered that there was a person on board. However, you also discovered this person did not have any thoughts. And that quickly led into a series of betrayals. And the party was betrayed by Nethalgu that was pretending to be a human, and you're betrayed by a Sirloin that was pretending to be a human. And you've managed to deal with both threats. Most recently, the Sirloins had turned into several of them had turned into copies of you, and had tried to convince the captain that you guys were the duplicates. There's a little bit of like Scooby-Doo stuff going on. But you succeeded. You defeated the Sirloins, and right at the end, the final betrayal kicked in, and that this is all actually a trap by the Nyogi. The Nyogi are these sort of like horse spiders. Just do whatever your imagination creates out of that. They're horse spider beings, sentient horse spiders, and they have been sort of like waiting for the next ship to drop in on this nautiloid, so they could pillage them. And so it's a dog eat dog, spider eat mind flayer world out there in wild space, and you are caught up in this sort of like mess. And so the end of the session, you saw this giant night spider, which is the Neogi craft, float into view. It is clearly within striking distance, and it is heading straight towards not the nautiloid. It's actually heading towards your galleon. So you have the understanding, as well as the captain, that you're under attack by Neogi pirates. So that's where we left off. And I don't know if we did character introduction last time, but if we didn't, that's okay. Let's take a few seconds, and we'll just to brief everybody and get back in the headspace. It's been 2 weeks, right? We'll just do a little run through of everyone's character. And so, Alex, we'll start with you. You are recently leveled up. Technically, I haven't allowed you to have it yet, but you're going to get a level, right? As soon as you get a long rest in. Why don't you tell the party your new level, your current class, your race, and what new toy are you getting with your new level up?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm playing Zephistopholes. We'll be going to level 6, Drycreen Ranger. And Zephistopholes, his new ability that he's going to be getting is he gets to add another favorite enemy to the favorite enemy list. And so I had him choose monstrosities. And then with that, you get to pick a language. And so I went deep speech, thinking, I guess just based on, I think the previous session I had said, yeah, he interacted with quite a few mind flayers in the past, and so that was sort of my rationale for choosing that.
Tell everyone what your first favorite enemy was.
First favorite enemy was oozes, actually.
That's what I thought.
I don't remember what the thinking was there, if it was kind of like he just spent a lot of time around oozes, and maybe that's how he was introduced to Placebo and Ichabod. I don't exactly remember if there was a story that we attached to that.
That's right.
He's playing the long game.
So speaking of, let's go with Placebo. Tell us a bit about your character and what you get at your new level.
Well, if we ever get lost, you can track us
That's
more
right.
efficiently.
It's a helpful.
Right.
So yes, I am playing Placebo, who is a plasmoid monk and level 6. Some fun things that Placebo will get to do with this new level is move a little faster and be a magic ooze when she attacks with her little, unarmed strikes. I don't know, her pseudopod strikes. So that's kind of fun. And get to do a few extra things with my physician's touch, because Placebo does like to help the party and hurt others. She's not always a nocebo. Most of the time it's placebo, so we'll see.
Very cool. And then we'll pop on over to Ichabod. Same type of setup.
Yep, I'm David. I play Ichabod, who is also a plasmoid. He is soon to be a level 6 bard in the College of Eloquence. And going up to level 6, I gained a new spell called Enemies Abound. And I also realized just recently while going over my stuff that I will also learn Counter Charm, which, given the stuff we're fighting, might not be the worst thing to have.
Yeah. I actually have never seen a bard use Counter Charm, ever. What does it do?
It's I basically use my entire turn all the way up to the beginning of my next turn. So me and any friendly creatures within 30 feet gain advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. So it's just, I guess, a pretty comforting boogie that
That's nice.
prevents folks from getting spooked.
Now I've got to try to charm you, so you can use your ability. Very good. And then last but certainly not least, Koraz.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Garthok, and I'm playing Koraz, who is soon to be a 6th level Aberrant Mind sorcerer. and actually with the 6th level, you get some Aberrant Mind features. With the Aberrant Mind sorcery, you get some psionic spells, and I guess I'll be able to cast them using sorcery points, and then also I will gain resistance to psychic damage, which is kind of cool, and get advantage on savings throws against being charmed or frightened. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Very nice. Yeah, I've got some weird stuff happening with this map. Is anyone else having weird issues with the map, like vision?
Not today. That looks good.
No.
Cool. Yeah, I've been wrestling with our VTT. It's Foundry, and I upgraded version 10, and that messed up some of my modules, and so I've been having some weird stuff go down. Like I get a gray screen every time I click on a character, so I'm gonna stop doing that. All right, so cool, very good. So let's bring the party back into the situation because we've got a lot going on with this session. One thing I'll say, kind of as like a sort of a meta commentary, because part of what I'm doing, I'm very interested in this idea of running a campaign from an adventure book. I have never done that before. Of course, I've only run one campaign, so my one campaign is a homebrew campaign that's currently happening. It's been going on for 3 years, and I get to like do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about like what the rules are or whatever. And so this one I'm running out of an adventure book. It's the Light of Xaryxis, and I'm trying really hard to sort of like adhere. And I think so far it's been almost exactly what they've laid out. So we've got a big chunky one today. We'll see if we get through it all because we have a slight, I won't say an ad lib, but a slight alteration to the start of the session. So what is the start of the session? Well, you have watched this night spider. It's curled out from behind an asteroid, and it is heading as fast as it can move towards your ship. Very obvious to you that it is going to either ram your ship or it is going to board your ship, not the Nautiloid. So, party, what do you do?
Do we have time to get to our original ship and get it going?
I would think you would probably surmise that you've got maybe like 1 to 2 minutes before that ship is going to drop a boarding party. And you would, I mean, we could do the whole like move your character around by squares and everything. I'm going to just say that it's going to take you 2 to 3 minutes to like get off the ship, make a run, get onto your deck. But you think you might be able to do it right before they drop a boarding party, but it's going to be close.
Okay. So
we won't do squares and stuff.
It's possible. It's possible we could.
If you go now, you can make it.
Okay.
And we have salvaged most of what we need on the ship, right? And
We salvaged artillery, but it didn't in spare parts for our projectile weapons, but we did not have time to find the actual Spelljammer helm. Yes.
Now, are we thinking to get back to our ship and then move, or should we make a stand right where we're at, and then if we are successful, we can come back and...
Well, Ichabod was inside while you guys were fighting the last of the doppelgangers, or quasi doppelgangers, and he's coming out. His hat's a little askew. He's not really holding his full shape. He's looking kind of rough, and he kind of just looks over at the incoming ship, and his head just kind of drops down. Perhaps discretion is the better part of valor, and we leave this honeypot as soon as possible.
Yes. Since none of us can fly this ship, we probably should go to the ship that can fly.
I think Zeph is already going to be like skittering down those rope ladders we made to get down to the original ship. Be like, let's go, we gotta go.
I will ooze very quickly behind you.
All right. So I think the consensus is moving to the ship. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
We've all been taking part in flying the ship previously, right? Like we'd taken up kind of crew positions, or no?
Oh, that's a good question. Have you all taken up crew positions? I mean, you've been definitely like operating on the ship probably according to how you've normally operated on a ship. So I don't think it would be like too hard to like sort of like say retroactively you had taken crew positions. But I don't think we've explicitly said it.
Oh, I clean.
You clean the deck. That's right. You
Yes.
did say that.
That is my job.
And we had Zephistopholes up in the crow's nest, kind of on lookout prior to this encounter.
But none of us can actually fly the ship, right?
No.
Because we're not. We don't have. That's.
We're not
Boom.
spelljammers.
I think you have to be attuned to the helm as well.
Yeah. That's flapjack, right? That's.
Flappity,
That's flapjack.
flappity, McFlappits.
Yeah, Flapjack is our current Spelljammer, and he's safely below deck currently. And we'll time everything out. I'm trying to find. We probably want to have a couple of these shipmates taken out, and I think there were the 2 thugs. So we'll say if you convince the thugs, hey, come on up or something at some point, like we're fine. But currently, they're like their attitude is we're hiding out until we get to the Rock of Brawl because all our friends have died because of you. So here's
It's
what we're
not
gonna
our
do.
fault. They were the ones that invaded the ship.
That's true. So first of all, do y'all have vision? Because I messed around with your tokens last session. Are you able to see this map that I've activated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So to give you some context, this is sort of an attempt to visualize what was going on. Y'all could position yourself however you like. This is the if you look up where I'm pointing, that's the derelict nautiloid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so what's going to happen is we're going to say that like basically you get to the ship right when this thing is like hovering over you and it's about to drop a boarding party. So you can position yourself however you would like in light of all that. And there will probably be like, I'm going to throw another couple of Hadozi. I'll throw another Hadozi up. Why
I
not?
would go closer to our sorcerer friend, so he's not leading the charge.
I think I'm moving back as far away as I can.
Nice. Probably smart. Let's see how you're looking. You're actually looking. Oh my gosh! I keep forgetting you guys are level 5. Or level
We
6. I
used a
guess.
lot of resources.
Yeah, I have like 1 spell left. And I'm at 15 hit points, so.
So we'll tell you
That
this.
is
What's
scared.
what's about to happen is sort of. I think you want this to happen. That's why I did this. So, because I could have done this a different way, but they've arrived, and as soon as you get to the ship, you're basically going to time right when you see a little boarding party like eject out from the ship. And there's no negotiation. There's no, hey, you should surrender. It's just the party drops out, and we're going to drop a spider. I mean, a Nyogi there. A Nyogi's going to drop on this other end. There'll be one that drops here. It kind of all happens simultaneously. And then their pet Umbra Hulk just lands right in the middle of the ship. And we're gonna all roll initiative. So let me get the combat set up.
No matter where you go, Koraz, there's always an enemy in your grill.
Jesus Christ! This is not what I was trying to do.
Such a magnetic personality.
All right, so I've got the combat set up. If you want to roll yourself, you can.
Oh. I was very much startled.
I've only dealt with an Umbra Hulk one time, and it was in a community campaign game with Alex. And it was really sad, and I got like very much beat up, so I'm hoping this will be as fun. Unfortunately, it's not in the cave, so it's kind of in a weird position. So this Umbra Hulk, actually, I'm sorry, Elena, she's going to go first. So we'll start the combat. And she's much better rested at this point in time. I don't actually know if I have her hit points exactly right, but she pulled out her saber and she's like, once more into the fray, I suppose. And she's going to charge after... she's going to go after this little Nyogi pirate, and she's going to take a couple slashes at him. So she'll open up. I think she gets 2 scimitars and 1 dagger. So she comes in with the scimitar just sort of waving, twirling around, and she swings and absolutely misses. The spider just like parries it with its little, let's see what kind of thing it's got. With its claw. Just this little spider horse claw thing comes flying out. She'll come again. So here comes the next attack. This time we get a hit. And then she'll also throw a dagger. I'm just going to roll them all. And that is also a miss. So she does get the hit off the scimitar. And she just plunges it straight into the chest of this Nyogi pirate. And it reels back from the blade, blood dripping, but still looking okay. And that'll bring us to this pirate right here, right next to this shipmate. And he is going to go to town. So we're going to get a bite attack, first of all. It just bites into the shipmate, and that is, I shouldn't even have to do anything. So that's a roll. That definitely is a hit. And we're going to get a saving throw from the Hadozi shipmate. He's like, Sacre bleu! Cigarette flies out of his mouth. He fails. Probably something really bad happens. I don't even know.
Oh, Jesus, that does not look good. That's a lot of dice.
That's a lot. Sake blue, and he just like falls into the ground as this poison from the bite just ejects into his body, and just like riddles him with this like bubbling like acid. Basically, just rips right through him. He turns gray and just shrivels and falls on the ground. And the spider's going to charge after you, Zeph. And actually, Zeph, are you in the crow's nest, or are you on the level?
I think I'm down below.
Okay, cool. And it'll throw a couple claw attacks at you. There's one, there's two. So 19 and a
19
big number.
hits and 20 hits.
All right. And so these claws are just nothing poisonous about them, but you do take 6 and then an additional 8 damage. You take 14 points. Just these two claws just slash you with like little weird spider arms. And then it is your turn.
All right. I think I will bonus action. I'll cast my hunter's mark on this one that just came up to me, and then take 2 swings with my scimitar. So first one. Oh, that's not. I rolled a 20 to hit.
That hits.
I'll have to see if my beyond 20 isn't working.
Oh no. I took out the thing that was causing problems before, but I wonder if it also like derailed beyond 20 for some reason. I wonder if I need to like update your character sheet. Let's see, does that work?
I rolled. It's a total of 7 points of damage.
Okay. You know what, Alex? I've played with you for a long time. I trust you. You can roll on D&D Beyond. Just tell me what happens.
Okay.
-7. Now that was just your regular attack. Are you doing anything like fancy with your babies or your hexes or whatever?
I can't because I used my bonus action. Or wait. Let me just look at that ability. That was a bonus action. I think I gotta expend to do the swarm.
Okay.
Oh no, it's not. I guess not. Okay, so I guess it's an extra D6 swarm. We'll use that ability. Another point of damage.
Cool.
My other attack was on that one, so that'll fail.
Cool.
And that's
You're lucky that I don't have tables set up. Otherwise, we'd be doing something.
Yeah.
So you slash into the pirate. It reels back. You chop a limb off or something. And any movement or anything?
I think I'll stay put.
Okay. So let me double check about the Umbra Hulk. So it has this gaze. If you start within 30 feet of the Umbra Hulk and you're able to see its eyes. So here's what we're gonna say. So everyone is noticing that the Umbra Hulk is like, how do they like? Help me out, D&D experts. Are they like glittery? Are they like shiny? Are they like vibrating? Like what makes them? Or is it just literally their eyeballs?
I always kind of took it to be, yeah, sort of like a glow beyond the kind of hex cone of the eyeball.
Cool. So currently it's facing you. We're gonna say that it's looking at you, Placebo. So we'll deal with that in a second. But we got this pirate is gonna come at. Oh god, it's gonna come at Elena, and it's gonna take a bite. So it reaches out to just bite her, and it is going to miss, thank God. And then it's going to give a couple claw strikes. Yeah, if you watch the Hadozi Captain, you all sort of like watch in horror as this thing is biting, and it does hit her with those 2 claws. But again, the claws themselves aren't necessarily they're not like dripping with poison or anything like that. So she just takes the slashing damage. And then we get to the shipmate, and I cannot believe these guys are as weak as they are. She looked at their stats. He's gonna rush up and help you, Zeph, and he's going to run up and dagger. He's gonna stab at this thing. Like, leave him alone. Oh no! And that it misses. The dagger doesn't even it just grazes off the creature. And then this pirate's going to come after our Hadozi friend here, take a bite, and I don't think this is going to last very long for the Hadozi. How many Hadozi did we say there were? 6 on the... I think there were 6. I'll look it up later.
7. Hadozi, come with us, I wrote in my notes.
Nice.
Cool. Roll a 22 on the saving throw. She'll take half that poison damage and will, in fact, be alive. Because of that. He takes his bite and he's like resisting it. You can see he's like drooling at the mouth. And then death comes.
Oh.
He just gets shredded by the claws. These Hadozi don't have a lot of hit points.
Oh, the humanity.
All right. Speaking of, Koraz, you're up.
Yeah. Koraz is going to move a little. Probably back between his friends to form like a line here, and then I will probably blast a Eldritch Blast this way towards this guy.
Okay.
So there's numero uno.
That hits.
All right. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear.
And these little spiders, these are small creatures too, so it's almost like shooting like a gnome or something. Like a gnome horse spider. So 5 damage?
5 damage, and then we're gonna blast another one at the same one.
That hits.
All right. Just like Womp Rats back home. And 4.
All right. You hit him a couple times in the head, and it's like trying to like dodge around and be all spidery, and it like skitters on the edge of the ship. You just nail it in the head again. He gets angry. And then it's the Umbra Hulk's turn. And the Umbra Hulk is going to rush up against you, Placebo. Oh no, Placebo. Actually, doesn't need to. It's touching you. It's already
It is
up
right
there.
It is right in front of me.
It raises its arms up over its head. I don't know what Umbra Hulks sound like or anything, but this one's trained to like be as intimidating as possible. It has like this like armor that's been strapped to it by the Niyogi. Like they've clearly like domesticated this thing and tried to like brought it into its crew, and it's going to take a couple claw strikes at you.
Oddly, they all sound like Hulk Hogan. Every single one of them.
I almost did, unfortunately. What's his face? Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
That's
an easier one.
Easiest, yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I can't do a Hulk Hogan impression. I can only think of Randy Savage.
Oh, you just have to say brother. You can do Randy Savage,
brother.
but just say brother. Yeah.
Listen here,
little
Jack.
a little less gravelly than Macho Man.
So, but he just
You're
lays
going
into you.
down.
Those hit, yeah.
Plasmoid, brother.
Okay.
There you go. Nice.
The first one is for 7, and the next one is for 12. Just hitting you around. And then it's going to come in for a bite with its mandibles. And a
That one
15.
will miss.
That misses. So it tries to chomp you, and then its eyes just like stare into your face.
Hypnotoad style.
Hypnotoad style. Just. All right, Ichabod, you're up. That's you, David. Are you still pondering?
I thought I saw.
Oh. I
Is it
might
not-
get out for a sec. What do all my companions look like health wise?
Everyone looks bad. Placebo looks like she's barely corporeal right now. Like there's just ooze everywhere. Zeph looks decent. He looks half. I mean, they all look like they've been beat up, except for the captain. She looks fine.
All right. Ichabod's gonna come running over and do healing word at 2nd level on Placebo. My last spell slot.
Comprehend languages.
Or I'm just gonna do comprehend language. That's hilarious.
And you hear me
Okay.
say, "What the fuck are you doing, brother?"
Ichabod can't do Bardic Inspiration, really has one spot because he is not himself feeling inspired. He is feeling pretty much resigned to their fate, that everything in the cosmos wants to kill them. So he's gonna healing word Placebo, and then as his action, he's just gonna do a Dagger Attack without much enthusiasm. He's just worn out emotionally and physically.
All right, let's see the Dagger Attack, and you'll have to now. This thing is looking your direction, so you can either choose to accept that fact, and then you'll have to do the. Actually, give me a nature or history check, your choice.
Oh, I think history is probably my better option here.
So you know that if you look at an Umbra Hulk and try to stab it, it will confuse you.
Mm.
But you can stab at it with disadvantage. Not that
All right.
hard.
Well, I missed. I'm guessing I missed anyways with an 11. So retroactively, whether we want to say it's because he wasn't looking at it or not, I'll with maybe a nat 20, he did know that. But
Sure.
so he's like doing healing word and just kind of like again lackluster thrust out like back beast, but he's kind of already in his mind like we're done for here.
Cool. And then Placebo.
How much did you heal me for?
Let's find out. 7.
All right. Thank you.
So Placebo, you've had 7 hit points healed.
Yes.
You had 7 hit points. So
Well, I had 10 and I tried to put +7 and I just put 7, so now I'm 17.
got it.
So,
Got it.
yeah.
Fair enough. So you see your brother healing you. He's covering his. I mean, I don't really know if that even makes sense, but like he's averting his sensory elements away from this creature as he's stabbing. What would you like to do?
I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to understand what's going
Okay.
on, or if I would.
So
I mean, I guess.
I need a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
As you're staring at its eyes, and maybe in anger, and you feel something strange overcome you. Roll me a d8.
Sorry, I can't tell from the picture sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm like, which one? Like 6, 7, 8.
You would think I would know 8 comes after 6 in the dice world.
It
But
doesn't matter. I do the same thing too. So you are just transfixed. These eyes are like glowing and like throbbing and they're like resonating. You feel this like wash of peace over you. Like, why are we fighting? Like, why should you fight? And you're just transfixed and just like wondering and, you know, contorting your little slime neck around and like staring at this creature's face, and you do nothing.
all right, so that's my turn.
Then we're gonna go to shipmate, and the shipmate is, I don't even know who it is. He's just gonna run away after seeing all his other's friends get killed. So he's out of here. And then
Where you go? Wait, hey!
and then the pirate's gonna come running up against you, Koraz, and is going to do the bite claw trifecta. So first comes the bite. Cross your fingers, you don't want this to hit. E. Give me a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. And I'm looking at this, actually, I misinterpreted, thinking it was half damage. It's actually, you take the damage no matter what, but you are poisoned. But you're not poisoned because you saved. So you're going to still take this damage. Let me just double check, triple check. You take the damage. In fact, I'm going to see on a DC 12 Constitution saving throw become poisoned. Yeah. So, Koraz, you will take 16 points of damage. Are you still up?
I am.
And we're going to get a claw attack.
I'm probably not.
Things like, yeah, it seems like latched onto you, like. So,
That was
it's a 10.
missed.
That misses, yeah. Hopefully you're wearing clothing, because then 10 will miss. All right, and then the next claw attack. You got to make it through this one. Oh, 6.
Thank God.
Okay, I've yet to down anybody. I feel very sad. So that brings us to the top of the round, and you're realizing the situation looks dire. So these Nyogi pirates, they're on you. The Umbra Hulk is on you. But just as you're sort of like gearing up for like round number 2, and Elena's sort of like, she's backing off this pirate, yelling at the Hadozi that runs past her, "You fool! If you run away, we all die. You can die now, or you can die in your cabin." And she's sort of chewing at him. Another crew of ships crosses the into your view. It's 2 galleons, so just like the galleons you have. And as they turn the corner, they begin firing on the spider. And so the spider starts to take all this damage from these like rocks, mangonels, mangonel rocks, and ballista. Kind of like shakes a bit. And Alina says, "Now is our chance. Kill them. Finish them before they escape." And she is going to, yeah, right. She's going to take a couple strikes at this.
Which battle are you fighting, Elena?
She's going to go, we're going to go, so you have to understand that you maybe have a round to kind of like get your revenge or possibly survive being kidnapped. So she'll take a couple strikes at this one and miss both attacks. That's not good. This is a bad scenario.
Maybe we should have kept Travis around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you
She's
say
good
that.
at doing is yelling at us. I mean,
She sticks the dagger into the spider Nyogi. And then it will move on. And so what will happen now is these creatures are going to enact a retreat. So they're going to see the damage on their ship and have a quick understanding of the ship is starting to disengage. It's starting to flee, and they're going to attempt to do that as well. But if they have any chance to make it, they're going to not even disengage. They're just going to run and go. So this spider, like basically, like uses entire motion to spider climb and like up one of these legs and try to like run into the ship. Zeph, you may take an attack opportunity if you like.
All right, a 22 to hit.
Oh my god, that hits.
And so total damage will be 11 points.
Was not enough, but you heard him.
Does
a lot.
the Hadozi get an attack of opportunity?
Hadozi's like pissing his pants right now, but he's gonna flail a dagger out. Why not? Let's see. I don't think it's gonna matter much.
How many Hadozi got eaten here? Like 3?
2 or 3. I'm not sure. He misses though. And then Zeph, it's your turn. Do you enact revenge? Do you try to capture any of these spiders? What are you gonna do?
So is this thing still?
It's on the leg, yeah. It's like spider climbing up the leg.
Okay, so it's not really that far away from me.
Yeah, I would say that like in order to like run, get over there, and do its little motion, maybe it's like all the way up against like the edge of the ship. It's about to go in.
This
But you
one-
can see it.
This one right here looks like he's gonna turn tail as well.
Oh yeah, they're all looking terrified.
I'm gonna probably say forget these and go for the Umbra Hulk, because do I get a sense that the Umbra Hulk is retreating?
I think the Umbra Hulk is gonna retreat last. I'll put it that way.
Okay, that's
You don't get the impression he's an
kind of what I was thinking. So I'm gonna go over there just because we can't have this big guy hanging out with us here. So
Yeah, and this is a monstrosity too. Was that your most recent thing you just said you took?
yeah, so if I need to track it, I'll be doing great.
I'm just gonna homebrew that you have general inclinations of their motives. You can read him that he's like gonna probably attack until everyone makes their escape.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So I'll go over here and oh, you know what? That kind of sucks. But for my hunter's mark, I can't move it.
Did you mark that guy?
No, I marked the guy that's like running up this way. So, oh well, I'm gonna go over
That's
here.
the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. You can only do so much, right? So, I'll take a swing. 9, I imagine will miss. Second attack, 15 to hit,
No.
and I guess with my bonus action, I'll just take a swing with my offhand. About a 10, it'll miss. So
That'll
no
miss.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just sort of like clanging against this thing's armor. And then our pirate number 2, same thing. It's gonna try to make us run. It's really got to go. So it's gonna get like halfway up one of these legs. Elena will take a swipe and see what she can do. Just out of spite. She will hit, and she will not quite kill it. So, and then that brings us to the dozy shipmate, who is going to panic and run. And there's going to be no opportunity attack because he's basically in retreat mode. Our Nagogi pirate number final is just going to run. He's going to get up, kind of probably similar position, maybe a little bit further down the leg. And then Koraz, you've got one next to you. And again, you see the shakes. They're skittering for home. They've been caught. But the Umbra Hulk is staring down your 2 ooze buddies.
Yeah, yeah, I'll probably. And I get the feeling this guy's probably gonna just run away.
He's not even looking at you. He's looking at the ship.
Yeah, I'm gonna blast the Umbra Hulk with Eldritch Blast. I think that misses, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one,
So 15 misses.
and that's gonna miss too.
This is not good. It's been a lot of misses on this Umbra Hulk.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the Umbra Hulk, and the Umbra Hulk is going to see the big blue thing come running up to it, and it's going to try to claw.
Am I still confused?
Well, let's look at the rules. It says, on a failed saving throw, because you can take reaction until the start of its next turn. So you can't take any reactions.
Okay.
So if you had
That's
something
what I
going
needed
on
to
mine.
know.
Yeah. Do you have Sentinel or something?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. 14?
That just hits.
All right. So here comes the swipe, and he's just sort of like swiping through your oozy body. 13 points.
I'm still up. I got 2 hit points.
And then he'll take another claw against his dazed creature, which you don't take any disadvantage or anything like that, but you'll 17.
Pretty. Yeah, I think that's my. Yep, that's me.
The other claw comes flying at you, and as you're thinking pretty, does 13 points of damage.
Well, because my brother healed me, I'm still on my feet.
And we're gonna roll a d6. If it's an even, it attacks. Or if it's 1 or 2, it goes to Ichabod. 3 or 4 goes to Placebo. 5 or 6 goes to Zeph. What did I say 1 or 2 was? Ichabod?
Ichabod, yep.
Ichabod, you feel the creature's gaze bearing down on you, and you're like hiding yourself, hoping
Man,
that it doesn't
Wish
make a
it would have gone
connection.
for me. Can I throw myself in front of it?
13?
So 13 misses.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just
good.
chomps right over your head, like right over your hat. You like duck.
It just goes splat mode, just like half my height.
And then Ichabod, you're up.
All right, Ichabod. Man, he is. I'm going to use an action to use universal speech. So any, I can use it once per long rest. Any, up to 3 creatures within 60 feet of me, can magically understand me, and basically Ichabod, without turning and looking or focusing his ocular sensors on him, just shouts out like, "There need not be any more death today. Leave while you can."
Are you saying this in a way that is persuasive, do you think, or are you trying to intimidate?
That's a good question.
Are you threatening him, or are you trying to like appeal to him? Or it?
I think it's a little bit more persuasion, because it's not like he's describing like, we are gonna like pry your plates off you. Like he's really just trying to reason with him and tell him that, you know, like it's in your best interest to leave.
It's an intelligent creature. I mean, relatively. So give me a persuasion check. Oh, 25. Wow, you spoony bard. So, he will,
I don't have good combat skills. I'm a talker. I use my words.
So you're saying this, the creature's like raging around, and you say that, and you're clearly like, you know, maybe pulling your dagger away and everything, and it kind of drops its attack, and it seems to be pondering your message, and it's looking around. It's not, you know, I mean, it's got a 9 intelligence. This is not a unintelligent creature, and it's recognizing the situation, and it seems to be maybe putting its guard down. Placebo.
Well, was I one of the creatures that understood what you just said?
I mean,
You see an
Let me
opening
see
to
the-
strike.
the chosen creatures can magically understand you regardless of which language you speak. So I'm speaking common, so you would have understood me. He
Oh,
just can
okay.
now magically understand common.
All right. I'm going to step to the other side of my brother and ooze into this grate. I'm going to go amorphous and just kind of like just squeeze
So you're-
through.
Your little pack, however you secure that on your body, and your mask and your staff, just go.
It just is left behind.
Mhm.
I mean, because I can't wear it or carry anything, so it's like my mask and quarterstaff and everything just is left on top of the grate.
That's so funny. No problem. Everything's looking good. So that brings us to the shipmate that I think disappeared. I need to just make that guy remove combatant. And then the pirate. So the last pirate, again, Koraz, you will see the similar situation. It's going to run to the side of the ship, and it's going to skitter across the edge of the ship and not really get very far, but it's going to leap onto one of the legs. Did you want to take an attack opportunity, even have a weapon?
I do have a weapon. I have a crossbow, but I don't think I'm gonna. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna take the attack.
Okay, and at this point,
I think I'm just like, oh, thank God, they're gone.
yeah, and at this point, the galleons have made a little more progress, and again, another hail of projectile just crashed into the side of this ship. The spider, the night spider, and the night spider starts to pull away from the engagement. So he pulls off from the ship, and you have the Umbra Hulk left behind. Currently sort of pacified. It's been abandoned. And unless you want to kill the Umbra Hulk, I think combat it, rather. I think we're out of initiative.
I think we should tame it because it's going to be a lot better than the Hadozi.
Yeah.
Like,
Dirty.
we get attacked again.
It's already house trained and everything. Like,
I I love his eyes. They're beautiful.
I thought they were too, but then the claws came, and that really hurt. You hear from like under the grate.
We're all insectoid brothers under the stars.
I thought about that for some reason. It's so obvious. It like just looks like a Thri-kreen. Like a big bulked out version. What do these things speak? Before we go any further, they speak Umbra Hulk. That's the language they speak.
They have their own language.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Me and Zeph speak psychically, however, and I do believe it does not matter what language, like any creature we speak with can understand it.
As long as they have a language, I think that's correct.
Although I do not believe we are the best negotiators.
Man, the thing is stranded. I think he probably is. We probably are in a better position than he is, even though we're all looking pretty wrecked.
Yeah, I'll probably walk over next to him and just like kind of put like two of my arms on his back and be like, looks like you're with us.
Yeah, and they do canonically speak the language Umbra Hulk. It's like, I don't know. It seems like a strange. I would not have expected that. It's like the most obvious answer. It's like Bulgarian speak the language Bulgarian, and you would think it'd be like some. I mean, maybe you wouldn't think, but you sort of like obviously it's Bulgarian. Oh, Umbra Hulk speak Umbra Hulk. Got a Bulgarian coworker.
Oddly, they speak Kobold. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, it's like orcs speak Goblinoid or something.
Right, right.
So
I know.
Give me a persuasion check.
All right, here goes nothing.
He's pacified by the other persuasive fellow. Ooh, that's a bad check though.
Is there like any visible like consternation in the face of the Umbra Hulk as this communication is happening?
Like
I
his
feel
eyes
like
start to glow more. You get confused. So
What
Koraz,
if he
roll
gets
me a
advantage
charisma check.
because Zeph is there too, another insectoid? Like, hey, buddy.
I need Koraz to roll me a charisma saving throw.
A charisma saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Are we level 6 or no?
You're level 5.
Damn it!
You'll enjoy your long rest when you earn it.
Ooh, I think that was
If you-
pretty good.
Yeah, that does it. So you're okay. So you are you feel like this, like the eyes start to spin, but maybe you spin your eyes in return.
Bugs of a feather flock together or something like that.
So the creature doesn't look overly hostile because it's been abandoned. It's kind of gonna like hole up in like some random corner of the ship, and just kind of like act defensively and like get down, like crouch. But it doesn't feel like it's been, you pacified it. I mean, you pacified it, but you were not like friends.
Got an Umbra Hulk castaway.
So at this point, we'll say that the Neogi, they're no longer in the situation. So just, you can use this map for point of reference, but basically the spider has pulled off and is fleeing away from these two galleons that are encroaching. And it's a matter of time for the galleons come onto your position. And so the captain stands on the edge of the ship and she kind of hails the galleons. This will take about a minute. Anything anyone wants to do before these two galleons show up?
I want to say to the captain, are we sure they're not going to attack us as well?
She looks back at you. She's like, well, they're flying the flag of Rock of Brawl, so I think we're safe. But you're right. You never know. At this point, I think we're better off accepting.
I will come out of the grate.
Nice. And as the ships get a little bit closer, you'll see that indeed they are flying flags. If you were familiar with the Rock of Brawl, you would know like they have a couple of flags they fly. One of them is a kind of like a Rock of Brawl insignia to signal to other captains that dock there that, hey, I'm friendly, I'm not out to cause trouble, which of course a pirate could also fly if they wanted to be sneaky. But this is the feel of organized like patrol, right? And so as they pull a bit further, one of the captains stands on the edge of the ship, and you'd recognize the captain as a Gith. Especially my ooze friends, because you have a special connection. So let me double check. I don't know if it's Githyanki or Githzerai. I don't know if you can tell visually. Aren't they like the same exact species? Are Githyanki the same species as Githzerai, or is there like a subtle difference?
There's a little
I don't
bit
know
of a
if it's
difference.
so-
They're kind
yeah.
of divergent from the same base species.
I'm guessing
Okay.
it's probably like Romulan and Vulcan, like similar origin, but subtle differences as time goes on.
Cool. So this is a Githyanki. And he's standing on the edge of the ship. He has a jaunty little hat with a feather popping out of it. He was wearing a nice tunic that's covering up a nice, like a really polished breastplate. And he looks very well put together, very on the up and up. Doesn't look like a pirate. Doesn't look like someone who would cause you a lot of problems. And he has a great sword slung across his back. And he calls out and he says, "Ahoy! You are under attack by those Nyogi. Is everything all right? Is everyone alive? Do you need any help?"
Rosie did not make it, but many of us are okay. I think we need help.
And he squints a bit as he gets a little closer, and he says, "Oh, Captain Satrell. The moon dancer, I see." And she kind of like, "Yes, that's me." Where are my notes? Oh, crap. Sorry. So I have 2 drinks, by the way. My wife surprised me with a second drink. It's Captain Darvik. Just Captain Darvik. I see you have once again decided to play hero. And he kind of jibber jabbers with her a little bit. Basically, like the gist they get is you get the impression they know each other. And he says, "Well, I see you're in trouble. You've taken some damage, been attacked, and fallen for one of the most classic traps, most obvious traps that you could put. A derelict ship. I mean, come on, Captain. You know better. But anyways, I'm willing to play escort. I'll take you to the Rock of Brawl and get you some set up for repairs. What say you?" The captain turns around and looks at you all, steely-eyed, waiting for someone to like jump in and say it's another trap or something.
Ichabod's just sitting on the bottom stair of those stairs going up, and he's got like the 1,000-yard stare. He's just looking straight ahead. He's a bit shell-shocked.
You have 2 hit points. How did I not knock anybody down?
Oh,
But
I have
everyone
twice
has-
as many as you do. My poor brother. I'm going to go by him. I
You
don't
have-
really care what the captain says at this point.
Wow. You have 4, Koraz has 4, and Ichabod has 2. And no one got knocked unconscious.
I think we're all gonna sit over here sad.
Meanwhile, Zeph's like, "Yeah, this is every other day for me. I get the crap kicked out of me. It's fine."
I'm hungry.
My whole life flashed before my eyes.
I did not realize so many people wanted us dead.
I tell you, it's the Flux Inspector.
Yeah, and you feel like for a second there, Koraz, that like in those last few seconds when you got that big bite and that poison was injecting into your veins, and maybe you saw a vision of something floating in the corner of your eye. Could have been the specter, could have been the poison. But at this point, Elena will arrange essentially safe passage to the Rock of Brawl. It's another couple hours of travel through wild space, assuming that you don't run into any more problems. The ship itself, if you recall, was fairly damaged from the Battle of the Star Moth. It is functional. Everything is still in place. The night spider didn't actually attack the ship. It just dropped the boarding party, and you repelled it, you survived it, I should say, long enough for this patrol to pull you out of trouble. But they're going to guide you into the dock to get some repairs. And mechanically, in Spelljammer, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to repair a ship. It takes an obscene amount. And so Elena is on the trip, thankful she's alive. She's stewing a little that you were not able to retrieve anything valuable. But she'll sort of like sit down on the deck, maybe next to you or across from you, and pull out a bottle of some kind of bootleg liquor and just say, well, at least we're alive, and that's what matters, or most of us are alive.
There is a magical breastplate just kind of sitting forgotten somewhere on deck that Ichabod brought back with him, but he has forgotten all about it. He is not at all interested in it anymore.
Are you wanting to offer that to me for payment?
He doesn't. It's like it's not even by him. He when he boarded, he kind of dropped it, and then during the battle. So
fair enough.
We had mentioned there was nothing valuable. That was probably the only thing of value we brought back, and Ichabod isn't really holding it anymore. It's just somewhere on deck.
So she won't mention anything about it. She'll just sort of she's just resigned to the idea that she survived the planet being destroyed and didn't make any really and got some parts out of the other ship, and everything is fine. But she's without a real crew. She has a mercenary crew that's half depleted. The ship itself has been damaged tremendously. There's an Umbra Hulk that's sitting on board, kind of occasionally confusing people with its eyes if you get close or look at it.
I would like to go and give it some pieces of food, but not look at it. Just I want to try to make it friendlier.
Man, I almost clicked on his character sheet to see what they eat. I was like, what do they eat? I was like, oh, that's not gonna be on here. I was like, what do they eat?
Well, I don't have
not baby Thrycreen.
I don't have much to feed it. I think I would just have whatever dried, I don't know, dried rations oozes carry around. So maybe freeze-dried plants.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does say that they burrow into cave complexes searching for food. So I think food is an important, that's the love language of an Umbra Hulk. So
I will show him some love and give him some moss.
It'll eat it mindlessly, just doesn't look very satisfied, but it'll take it.
I am sorry. That is all I have.
So the ship will travel for a couple hours, and again, everyone's kind of resigned to hey, we've got our asses kicked for the past couple of days. Even things have been rough. Time to rest. And so what I'll say is you can take a short rest. And I was debating giving you a level up at a short rest, but I think to keep things clean, let's save the level up for official long rest. Is that okay with everybody?
Sounds good.
Because I was reading the adventures, where the hell are they supposed to level up? There's no space. And level them up between sessions. They're in the middle of a fight. Well, of course, we played a little differently than what's in here, just a hair. So so you'll take a short rest if you want, if you have any hit die to spend. Meanwhile, you will travel to the Rock of Brawl. So what is going to happen from here? So nothing bad happens on the way to the Rock of Brawl. So what is the Rock of Brawl? The Rock of Brawl is a gigantic asteroid floating out there in wild space at in this particular wild space system you're in. And what's interesting about it, and again, it goes back to kind of the physics of the Spelljammer world, and I mean, I guess in the real world, that the asteroid itself has really two, as you're coming into view, you see that there's two series of structures. There's a set of structures like buildings and infrastructure all over the top side of this sort of wide asteroid. But there's also an undercity underneath the asteroid. It's sort of floating in its little belt. And so there's buildings underneath the asteroid, there's buildings on the top of the asteroid. And on one end of the asteroid, there's this real robust dock that is currently housing several ships, several different spell jamming ships, and the two galleons, which you would learn through like conversation. These galleons, one of them is called the Stalwart, and the other one is called the Incorrigible. Commander Darvik, that's the Gith captain that you discussed or met with. He is the captain of the Incorrigible, and you know he entreats with Captain Sartell. Kind of figures out, you know, like, hey, you know, he's not very fond of her. You can kind of tell from their conversation. There's a little bit of like, maybe not necessarily rivalry, more like he kind of looks down on her for being more of a pirate type and doing like these sorts of salvage operations, that kind of thing. But he is forthright. He's not necessarily good. He's a lawful type character. Goes by his word, and in a couple hours, the ships have led you into the dock at the Rock of Brawl. And the pier workers are sitting on the edge of the dock, and they've got kind of like prepared to catch ropes from you to kind of guide you in to one of the positions. And so the captain, she stands up on the deck once the rock becomes like well in view and says, well, welcome to the rock. And this is where we finally part ways.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. I'm glad to have rescued your lives and saved you and traveled you across the way to the rock. But I think at this point in time, we can both agree this has not been working out. So I'm going to drop you here.
Is on the verge of correcting her about how things went down, but just can't even muster the energy to debate.
Well, if you ever get any money and you need somebody axed or whatever, you know, just call me up.
Do you have like a card or something?
That'd be good.
It's like, well, I'll know. I'll ask you for by name, I suppose, but hopefully it won't happen. So, what do we do with this fellow? And she points at the Umbra Hulk.
I think we should name him Teddy.
Teddy. Okay. Well, Teddy, would you like to serve aboard my? Oh, he can't understand me. What am I even trying to say?
I guess I'll walk over to the Umbra Hulk and try to... I don't know if I should try to convince it or if I should pull my Lone Locust of the Night act on it and try to intimidate it into following us.
Well, at least you can communicate with it. She'll never be able to talk to it. You guys can communicate telepathically with him.
Maybe if we
Or
all
her.
like we want to welcome him or her, we can support you in a nonverbal way as you make your case. So I will.
So you guys will do like an ooze dance to make it feel welcomed while I'm trying.
Eyes, you know, but no eyes. I don't know. I'm just...
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but it's gonna be something to the, you know, because I'm a insectoid. I understand insectoid needs, you know, and the need for like a hive, and so I'm gonna like try to speak to those needs of the Umbra Hulk and be like, this is my hive, and you can join our hive.
All right, I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
I'll give him a bardic inspiration for that. Ichabod just kind of comes over and like pats Koraz on the shoulder and says, you know, peace is the way.
Now, would a Umbra Hulk, you know, it obviously was in the employ of the Neogi, but now we're in the Rock of Brawl. Like, do we have a sense of like what would his chances even be on his own? Like, would he be seen as a monster here, or? So
that's a good question. So you are pretty well traveled. I would say you don't need to. Tell you what, give me an insight check just to give you like the depth of insight into that situation, and I'll give you there's a minimum you'll get just automatically for free. But give me an insight check to see how deep we'll go.
I only had a 4 on that.
So you'll get the
basic.
I have to resist punishing you for the 4, but because I'm gonna stick to my word. So the basic information is all you're gonna get. But what you'll get is like, hey, it's the Rock of Brawl. There's all kinds of mercenaries around here. This is kind of like, it's sort of like a pirate den almost. And, you know, there is an organizational structure. There's a government, but it's a lot of like power brokers that control things like the mafia. Like the Umbra Hulk's going to probably find a job in your mind.
Okay. I think regardless of the knowledge that I have about it, I want to assist Koraz by like adding, you know, you can take your chances out there with whoever you meet here, but you know, we didn't kill you. You can trust us. Like, you know, we could use a 5th member. So
what I'll do is with all that combined in this case, I'll count that as advantage for Koraz.
All right. I like that.
And you got the Bardic Inspiration, a D8 if you need it.
What does a D8 do? Just roll a D8 to add to the roll, or
Yeah, you can add 1 D8 to the roll.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna want that, but let's see. And then yeah, I guess we'll add the D8 for S.
Might as well. You only have it for 10 minutes anyway. You might as well.
For S and cheese.
Save it for the dice.
Another 2.
So 18 total. So the Umbra Hulk is going to react positively, and it'll respond because it can respond back to you, right, telepathically. Is that how it works?
I believe it can. Yeah, I believe we can communicate.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So especially you, 'cause you have the whole like, you have the aberrant mind thing, which is like extra psychic stuff going on.
Yeah.
So basically, it'll communicate to you, just be like, want to stay on rock. Oh, no, that was 9 intelligence. I want to stay in the rock. Find a job as an enforcer. If you promise not to kill me, I won't kill you. Help me find a job.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds good.
So the Umbra Hulk's going to straighten up and no longer is hostile to you. And it's going to follow you around.
I wonder if we can offer him a job. I don't know if we have enough money to offer him a job.
You're trying to buy an Umbra Hulk NPC. I got to figure that out. What would that be? That's gonna.
Hey, in theory,
figure out what
go grab that breastplate. Wouldn't it magically fit him? That could be his payment.
Well, that is probably a worthwhile thing. Like Ichabod has abandoned it, but other people may not want to abandon it. So I'll leave it up to the other players to decide if their characters would notice it or want it or grab it.
I mean, Koraz can't use it, but if it was discarded and he noticed it and realized it's of value, yeah, we'd probably grab it before we left to decide with the party what to do with it later.
If it's up for grabs, I'd probably use it.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone else could, so you might as well.
Yeah, totally.
It was a breastplate +1, was it?
We don't know. It's a magical.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't know technically, but I mean, I already said yes, so it's breastplate +1.
Well, you could have spent some time with it while we were resting.
That's true.
Figured that out.
Yeah, and the way it looks too, it has like for good or for ill, it has like the tentacle motif of a illithid. Did I say that right? Illithid or ithilid?
Illithid.
Illithid. The illithid sort of thing, like it's very intricately designed. Clearly something built for like an officer and an officer mind flayer. But it's very nice. It looks nice, but it has like that, clear motif going on. So we'll arrive at the Rock of Brawl. So it is actually quite a long way into the session. This is all supposed to be like the hook.
Really?
Yeah. I kind of it was sort of like, if you want to do this again, I was like, sure, that sounds fun. So you'll arrive at the rock, and basically the captain's going to. There's a couple of points of order. So she's first of all, she isn't, an evil person. She's going to make sure that the refugees get off the ship, and so all of these plasmoids and a few humanoids. I don't think any of you had like the homeless plasmoid that the houseless plasmoid that made it out there. The kind of the crafty one. You'll recognize your friend. He'll ooze out. And basically these refugees are going to be pulled off the ship, and Captain Sartell, she's going to be talking to some port authorities and negotiating, and you get this impression that she's trying to like arrange for their like refugee status, some kind of help on the rock, which based on what you know, especially if you are familiar with it, might be a little hard to arrange, because this is not like, it's not like a real clear like centralized country that takes neighboring refugees in during war. It's just like a sort of like I don't know, like Mos Eisley or something like that. It's like a more for like mercenary types. But she knows people, she makes some connections. And then what she will tell you when this is all kind of wrapped up and everything is dealt with, is she'll look at you each in the eye, except for the Umbra Hulk, except for Teddy, and she'll say, well, so my only thoughts are, you could ask around. Rocket Brawl is a quite resourceful place, but my suggestion is you go find Commodore Crux. He's a GIF, an old hand, experienced, but more importantly, he's had dealings with the Astral Elves. Not very fond of them. There's something in his past going a ways back. I think maybe he lost a ship or a crew or someone important to him. But he knows them and he hates them. I think he might be able to help you, or at least point you in the right direction. So if I were you, I would make a stop by one of his favorite watering holes. See if he's there. If not, ask around. He's usually moping about. And she'll point you towards a bar. The name of the bar is the Happy Beholder.
What was the Commodore's name, DM?
Commodore Crux. Krux. Commodore Crux.
Thanks.
And he's a GIF. So not a GIF, but a GIF. So a big hippo guy.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool. I'm just keeping an eye on some work stuff.
Is this immediate that we are to go and see him, or is there some time to like do some shopping and things like that?
Oh yeah, she just sort of like, that's like, she's just like, hey, go see him. I recommend it. Bye bye.
Okay.
So you're on the rock, and again, I guess they technically have like an image. I was playing with the journals. They updated the journals. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna see if this will work. What happens when I share this with you?
We see
I
it.
see a seagull.
It's an image. Okay, cool. So this is not like the best image in the world. It's just what they have in the module. But it's sort of like, this is kind of the vibe. You're out in the wild space. You see the beautiful colors of the night sky, like this sort of like astral vibe. It's technically you're in wild space, but like this sort of beautiful night sky. But you also see in the actual city itself, there are tiers of like social status. Like you can see there's large mansions on the top part of the asteroid that have these big buildings and big views. There is this there's sort of a shopping center and a where all the deckhands kind of operate, and clearly where they go to drink and hang out, and this kind of bustling market area closer to the docks. But you get the idea that this is a stratified society that you could really kind of poke around and do what you like. But the impression from the captain was basically, just to clarify, is that she is going to deal with the refugees. You don't need to worry about it, and she just recommends that you see Crux, just because Crux knows about the elves, and he may give some insight. Otherwise,
Now night and day probably don't have a whole lot of meaning from locale to locale in wild space, but how long has it been since we like last took a long rest? Like, would we be feeling pretty tired? Is it, from our perspective, does it feel like afternoon, evening?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question, because it's been 2 sessions, I think, since you take a long rest. I would think you're feeling pretty tired. A couple hours of travel. I think it probably took you a few hours to even get to the ship itself, the situation, and all of the kind of like combat and like resolution and all of that. It's maybe not necessarily like the crack of midnight, but it's later in the day, like maybe like 8-9 p.m. feeling. You know, it's space, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Before we talk to the Commodore, should we secure some lodging for the evening?
Yes, maybe the Happy Beholder has rooms, and we can stay there.
The captain's like off doing stuff, so if you like want to talk to her, you're asking her that question.
No, he was kind of just thinking aloud, and I think he probably is just kind of slowly walking toward the direction of wherever Captain Elena like said the Happy Beholder is, or maybe she didn't even point. He's just kind of wandering like away from the docks toward.
Okay. Yeah, and you're all sort of like stumbling about. I mean, you've got, short rested, I suppose, but like definitely been rough. You're out of your spell slots. You've used all your abilities. Actually, Placebo, you might be feeling pretty good.
No,
you look
I am
horrible.
not feeling good.
You get your key points back. That's about it.
Yes. But I think Placebo is done speaking with the captain because she is done with us. So maybe we should go see if there are rooms at the Happy Beholder, and if not, we can find rooms elsewhere.
Sounds good. Winston, I don't know when there's going to be an opportunity to do this, but I do have some things I want to buy when an opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity as any. So you're in like a bustling like pirate den, right? Like there's all kinds of people like trying to sell you stuff on the side of the street. You see like an elf that's trying to like peddle some little like trinkets and things like that. Like there's all like street stalls. So what exactly are you interested in trying to get?
So I wanted to pick up some cooking utensils.
Okay.
I wanted to pick up some additional arrows because I'm pretty depleted on that. And then probably the third thing is I don't know if there's going to be guidance on this, but I wanted some fishing gear.
Yeah.
Some like astral fishing gear.
No problem. So, and we don't necessarily need to like play all that out, but I will say, I'll tell you what, for the sake of like, we'll play this. Give me a investigation check, because you're new and maybe you don't know the Rock of Brawl as well as you could. You're trying to find a stall that sells you like fishing gear and stuff. And this is not going to be like whether you get it or not, just more like how much time it takes.
Okay, a 22.
You find it immediately. So in fact, you find like as soon as you walk off the ship, there's some guy like he's selling fishing gear, like it's like a tourist attraction, or like he's trying to like capture people and like kind of convince them. He's like, oh, got the fishing poles right here. Just think of all the fish, all the money you would save. And he's pitching people on fishing gear, and then he also pulls out and says, and once you catch your fish, you could fry it up on this. And he's got like this old device for like cooking. And like he's got the whole like shebang right there.
Oh my god. I've got 200 mouths to feed. Of course I need to save money. Teach me your fishing ways.
Like, oh well. I see. Well, of course. I mean, this is not any old fishing gear, and you buy this, and I guarantee you'll catch a fish at least once every. If you roll the D8 and whatever would come up on that, then you catch fish for that. And he's like kind of like convincing you, this is an amazing fish. It's amazing. You should definitely get it right now. I mean, a fishing pole. It's like, it's awesome.
How much for the whole shebang?
I am looking it up in my reference guide right now. Cooking utensils, I believe, are 25 gold. Is that right? I've never ever bought cooking utensils. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say that it is way less than that. It's 1 gold.
Oh, jeez. They're trying to cheat you.
I was gonna say 25 gold sounds like some gold ass cooking utensils.
Right.
Right.
There better be an enchantment on that stuff.
I was just sort of like pricing it against thieves' tools, you know. I mean, similar. You got lots of things, knives, like specialized equipment. So 1 gold for the cooking thing, and it'll actually be 2 gold. This is 2 because let me tell you, this is quite amazing. It's not just your plain old cooking kit. We're out in the camping. This is high quality stuff, and he's pitching on 2 gold.
Okay, I'll pay that. And so I got cooking utensils.
Good. And then for the fishing pole, I was like prepared for this 2 sessions ago, and then I've closed the tab. So it's somewhere in here. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find this. But we're gonna say, let's just say I'll make a call. Actually, I found it. It is going to be 1 silver. But he's gonna sell you on 2 silver.
Okay, sounds good.
It's like, now listen, the way it works, it's really simple, and he'll explain sort of like how to use it and everything like that for your purposes. Since this is a unique mechanic to Spelljammer and for all the players, you can spend an hour fishing, and you're gonna make a survival check. It's a DC 15. Every hour. So every hour you're fishing, you do DC 15 survival check. If you fail, you catch no fish. If you succeed, you roll a D10, and then a series of things come out. Some of them are, well, I mean, you're just anything from like basically an edible fish all the way up to really huge, gigantic fish. So that's the way it works. Very simple. And you'll have your cooking utensils.
Also like to buy something, if that is possible. I would like to buy an herbalism kit, if I can find one.
He's like, well, you see, lucky for you. And he pulls out, no, you wouldn't have that. It's like, yes, I tell you what, if you go down a little further in the market, you can find more traditional things like potions and herbs, and arrows and whatever the heck. And he'll indicate to you that if you just go into the town, you'll find basically anything you would want out of the player's handbook would be in that sort of market space.
Well, and if Placebo is able to find someone selling one, she takes all of her money, which is 10 gold, and just plops it out on the counter, saying, I would like one of those, please.
Let's see how that gets handled. And 10 gold, you said?
Yeah, I think they're normally 5.
Yeah, they are.
So
you plop it on, you just drop it on the table, like in this, you go into this sort of, this little out of the way shop that has like some kind of branding with like little flowers and herbs and things like that. And you go in and it's this pungent smell. I don't really know how plasmoids perceive things. If you smell things, or if you like everything is sort of a version of touch. But it's this pungent experience. Let's put it
how
that way.
snakes feel, like they smell what, like, pick up the particles. So
Yeah.
I'm absorbing the particles.
And you're getting a little tinge, just a little bit, like maybe a little greenish around the edge. It's quite strong. There's incense burning. There's jar after jar of bizarre-looking herbs, and almost at a wood group. I wish a goblin comes kind of like pulling around, and she's got this. So you ask for this herbalist. She's like, well, 10 gold. You seem like a nice plasmoid. New to Rock Brawl, are you? I'll tell you
yes.
what. I'll give it to you for 10 gold.
Oh, I feel so lucky. Thank you so much.
She hands it over. But just this once, next time you want something from me, I'm going to charge you the market rate.
I will remember that.
She bites the gold, every single piece, just to make sure, and then puts
It
in
is
her
real
thing.
gold. It is all the gold I have. So I will give that to her.
It doesn't bat an eye.
Do any of us notice this, or are we like wandered off?
Your choice. Would you have gone with Placebo to shop for a herbalism kit?
Well, I'm not sure. I want to say Koraz has probably got a little interested in the fishing rod and probably bought a fishing rod with Zephistopholes. So if she was doing that at the same time, then I would be distracted. But if it was after that, then I would probably be like, as soon as if I was there and saw her drop all her money on the counter, I'd be like, oh, I told you about this.
Sure, why not? That sounds fun. So you drop all the money on the counter, and Koraz, you're like looking around at some weird plants or something, and maybe, and you see this. I'll let you kind of react. And so, what's your reaction to the goblin trying to hoard all the gold out of?
As soon as she drops her money on the counter, I'm just gonna start picking it up and pushing it towards her into her oozeness. Like, just take this back. What are you doing? I told you about putting money on the table. You have to ask how much it is first.
Oh, that is right. I forgot the order of things. How much is it?
She's already like looking at the gold. She was trying to like count it when you like took it out of her hand. I said it was 10 gold, didn't I?
Oh, see, it is 10 gold, Koraz. I guessed correctly.
That seems like a lot.
All right, give me an insight check, Koraz.
There are many good things in this kit. I could make potions.
There's the roll. 15? Yeah, it's bullshit.
Hey, listen. Stop trying to get one over on this nice plasmoid here. Give us a reasonable price, or we'll buy one next door.
So the goblin she puts her hands up. I kind of imagine it like with this like really big like poofy hairdo and everything, and she's just sort of like all of her jewelry's jingling, and she's just sort of like, well, listen. Okay, deal's a deal. I'll cut you a first-time customer deal of 5 gold.
Oh, that is very generous. I will come here for all my future shopping needs.
And next time, market rate. And then she's like, I have to go now.
Yeah, market my ass.
Cool.
I promise I will do it in the right order next time, Koraz.
I told you 1,000,000 times.
Well, you have to understand that on Macopia, this whole token economy is relatively new to us. You guys, many of you humanoids seem to appreciate metals, where metals are interesting to us, but it's a very strange idea that they have any inherent value. So we're still getting a little used to it. If we felt the need for any compensation, bartering is typically what we would bother with. So we still have a lot to learn, Koraz. Thank you for looking out for my sister.
Well, that's fair. Just watch out there. It's a bunch of savages out there.
When we pay for our room at the inn, you should come with us when we do that to make sure we don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Oh, they want money for that too.
Oh, they want money for everything. This place.
Yeah.
Hey guys, check it out. Pretty soon we're gonna be able to pay for everything in fish.
Oh,
I imagine
wow.
he gave you like a starter fish as like your first fish. This one. It's part of the deal.
I bet you would be
What was the fishing rods again? They were two silver.
2 silver.
That was the very first ship I worked on, was a fishing ship. I'm very good at cleaning up fish remains. I will help.
I'll turn it all into delicious. Oh, all the different fish dishes we'll be able to have. It'll be amazing.
Yum. So do we have any idea as we're like coming into the rock of like where the what was it, the Happy Beholder is? Do we see any signs that look like it has a bunch of eyeballs on it, or like or do we have to do the obvious tourist thing, which is walk around being like, hey?
Yeah, I've done that obvious tears thing a few times. So not really. It's called the Happy Beholder, and it's this huge tavern. Basically, as soon as you walk into the market area where you're like looking around for like the herbs and just and there were arrows and too, like Alex, you can buy whatever arrows you want.
Okay.
Just check the player's handbook for like the conversion for like the gold and everything, but whatever you think you can like reasonably carry. But yeah, you'll see that there's a lot of bustling activity around this large tavern called the Happy Beholder, and just like you said, Koraz, there's like eyes on the sign and everything, and it's like decorated out really nicely, and there's a pretty good amount of clientele in and out, but maybe more people are kind of walking past this. You get the vibe it's like this place that used to be really cool. Well, I don't know if you get this vibe, Koraz, but if you personally know like a place that maybe was really cool and a great spot, but it kind of gets by just by like being in a great spot now. It's not necessarily frequented that much, but you get the impression that you could probably stay there. There's probably some rooms, and there's definitely going to be some place to eat and get some drinks and sit down and rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in. I'm going to see if we can negotiate for some rooms, and I'm gonna say, to the plasmoids, like, look, this is how you do it.
Okay.
Ichabod's gonna definitely stick by him and try to take some mental notes.
Placebo reaches into her pouch, but is waiting to take her coins out until.
Cool.
So yeah, I will inquire if there's any available rooms and the pricing.
Cool. So we will. So let's play that out. So yeah, you come in, and as soon as you walk in the room, you do see that there are a number of people. I mean, this is a large tavern. There's probably like 15, 20 tables in various places. You can't see the whole floor from the entrance. Like there's some some walls you have to go around and kind of investigate. But at the front, where the bar is, you see a large beholder, an actual beholder, sitting behind the bar, and it has all its eye stalks out, and it's like serving drinks, like with its eyes, like pushing drinks around. It's got a couple bar backs, like helping him like do things, and it's chuckling and laughing and like communicating with everybody in common. Just like, oh, well, of course, that's a good one, and just like pushing a drink off to some random pirate who's just like chugging down an ale.
Yeah, bringing in Umbra Hulk in here, not at all weird. If there's
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's like,
I'm just
Umbra
gonna be
Hulk versus Beholder. Wow, that's a thought.
Zeph is just gonna be like hanging at the back of the crew, like talking to him, like trying to convince him. If you came along with us, you would have a lifetime supply of fish. No, that's something that most crews can't offer.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I gotta believe there's fish in the Underdark. He's probably likes fish.
He does like food. You're right. I'll tell you what. I'll take back the disadvantage. Just regular persuasion check.
I wasn't even trying to argue for that. I was just thinking out loud.
It's a fair point. It does say they're motivated by food, so.
I got an 8.
It doesn't work. He just sort of like says like, I don't. Food is good. I like fish, but I need a job. I need money.
But if it teaching Umbra Hulk to fish, I don't know.
He eats for his life.
His claws.
You'll be self-employed.
That's right. So you make your way into the bar, and Koraz, you're sort of wanting to approach maybe this beholder to like get a room or something.
Yeah, I'll probably, walk up to him and say something about like, that's a very literal bar name, and nice to meet you, and we're looking for a room that can accommodate, I guess 4 and an Umbra Hulk for now. And by the way, are you looking for a door guy? Because our friend is looking for a job. And how much is the room?
So the Umbra Hulk, the beholder, whatever monster, turns around and looks at you and says, "Ooh, oh, wow. Well, you got a lot of questions there, bud. First, names. My name is Luigi. What's your name?"
Nice. I'm Koraz. And then I've got some friends with me. I've got Placebo, Ichabod, and Zephistopholes. And then this is Teddy back here too. He's the one looking for a job.
3 of the eye stalks turn and look at the Umbra Hulk and then quickly look away.
Ichabod tips his hat and does a little bow. He's like, we're in a social situation. This thing doesn't want to kill me. He's starting to feel a little bit more like himself again, and says, "It is a pleasure to meet you, Luigi. You have a fine establishment here. And for what it's worth, whatever rooms you have, my sister and I do not require beds. We take up very little space when we're resting. Maybe just a bucket or a crate for each of us will do."
And he's like, "Well, definitely got some buckets and some crates, but we've got some rooms, and I know you plasmoid folk. We see your kind, so we can service you to the best of our abilities. So, how many rooms then? 2? 4?
Well, do you have one very large room where we could all stay, or? I mean,
You could stay in the wedding suite. I'm
how
kidding.
much? Oh.
He like stares at you like all the eyes. Kind of like,
Ichabod
No,
laughs like he gets the joke, even though he doesn't.
I think 2 rooms. If you don't mind bunking, 2 rooms would be the way to go.
That sounds fair.
And since you're new to the rock, he pushes 4, actually, I guess 5 drinks technically. He pushes 4 drinks, and then a 5th one reluctantly comes towards the Umbra Hulk. It's like a big pint, a double pint rather. And he's like, "Here you go. First drinks on the house."
Very, very kind of you. Ichabod just kind of stands there. He doesn't know if he should mention what kind of drinks he wants, or if there's only one drink, so he just kind of is standing there expectantly.
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, it's a pint each. So the Umbra Hulk is like a big old, like, I can't think of what it's called, like the bigger pint, the 32-ounce pint. It's not a pint, but anyways, the bigger one, the bigger drink, a big stein or whatever. And it's some kind of pale-looking beer of some kind, ale, something like that.
Koraz's probably mandibles are already deep inside of this drink.
Yeah, and it's run of the mill. Like this is not the best that he has to offer. You probably figure it out pretty easily. But it feels great. It tastes great. It's cold. It has alcohol in it. It is not a creature filling your body with poison. Like it feels nice.
Yum.
Yeah, they're crack a cold beer after a real hard manual labor job. Like it's like that feeling.
Yeah, did you tell us how much the rooms are for both rooms?
Yes, I was looking up the cost of ale for some reason. For the inn, you are going to pay half gold each. So altogether, I'm going to say if it's for 2 rooms, well, I guess he's paying for the rooms. It'd be a gold for the room, both rooms.
Ichabod will pay.
Aw, I look sad now because I was looking to Koraz for waiting when I'm supposed to give my gold, and you beat me to it.
I will.
Listen, Ichabod, that was perfect. You wait until they tell you the money, and then you give it to them if it's reasonable. That was good instincts.
Thank you, Koraz.
I still did it wrong.
Ichabod dips a tendril in the glass and just absorbs just a small amount to feel the temperature and any other sort of reaction as he absorbs it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little skunky. It's not, I don't know if you have a preference as Ichabod for your beverages, but it's a nice ale.
I don't know why Ichabod struck me as like a wine drinker, maybe.
Oh, for sure.
Or a nice
I don't know that
whiskey.
I don't even know that he drinks a lot. I mean, I think he just is kind of finds it interesting, but I don't know. That's a good question. I've never really thought about what he drinks or if he drinks.
Placebo will absorb all of what is in her glass because that is the polite thing to do.
For sure. And you drink it and go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw. If you drink it all, like just like, you know, systemically, give me a Constitution saving throw. Just to make sure you don't get drunk.
Oh, no, I do this all the time.
You're good. Yeah, you can hold it.
Ichabod realizing that, you know, his sister is more worldly and like, oh, that's how you do this. So he will in turn, his pseudopod will like absorb all the rest of in his glass as well.
Nice. Give me another Constitution saving throw.
He is much bigger than I am, so.
Yeah, you handled. You're doing good. You are bigger and you have fewer hit points though. I feel like, oh wait, no, you have more hit points. Yeah, you're definitely cool. Yeah, you're good. And so, you know,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, do we see a GIF in here that could be our Commodore Crux?
Yeah, so I would say that, I mean, with all of you in there taking your time, you don't need to roll for anything. There's not a ton of people in the actual building. There's a few at the bar, and there's a few at the tables that are around, a lot of empty tables. And one of the tables, it's a table for 6. In the corner of the room, there is a large GIF, and he's sitting in the corner. He has a parrot on his shoulder. Not a pirate. He's got a parrot on his shoulder. I mean, it could be a pirate parrot.
Yeah,
It's
but
possible.
it could very well be.
Let's say what species of pirate. Yeah, and so he's sitting in the corner, and he looks like he's got a giant. He's got something as big as the Umbra Hulk from the beer side, a 32 ouncer, and he's just kind of nursing it, staring off, all by himself, taking up half the table basically on the booth side. And there's 4 chairs there on the other side, and doesn't look like he has any company. He's not really waiting for anybody. Just you know what it's like.
Does it look like he's maybe waiting for somebody?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, I guess give me an insight check.
He's at a big table just by himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Of course, maybe
I got a 4.
his table.
Yeah, you think maybe he could be waiting for somebody, but it's hard to tell. He's just sort of sitting in the corner, staring off, lost in thought. Maybe he has that kind of like glassy eye look.
I think Zeph would just like go over there, not to his table, but maybe like grab a table nearby, and just kind of be listening if he ends up in any kind of conversations. Zeph isn't gonna take the lead on this meeting,
Yeah.
but he'll try to observe and listen for anything, kind of learn a little bit about him, maybe.
So you with Teddy are at a neighboring table. When we turn around with our drinks, we see you there.
Yeah, yeah. I think we'll just grab our drinks and like go sit down at the table.
Okay.
But we lost our DM.
I know.
Oh no!
We're lost now. We do not know what to do.
As we approach, the parrot transforms into.
I feel like Koraz.
Without
Hey,
Is
you're
sort of-
back.
my computer just like tried to die. It didn't
no.
die. It came very close.
Plug it in.
Yeah, it like froze. I was like alt tabbing between different like windows and stuff, and just like didn't like that. I have a lot rolling right now, so
I believe it.
I'm gonna close Photoshop. That's probably one bad one. Get out of here.
It's a rampire.
Yeah. So sorry, Alex. To answer your question, and so you like are pulling up, and you're like, hey, trying to observe what's going on, paying attention to the GIF, and he is by himself. He's with a parrot, and he's kind of talking to the parrot a little bit. Not anything I guess, are you like observing him and like listening to him, his chatter?
Yeah, not directly interacting with them, but just trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Gauge him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the parrot doesn't have a name. That's sad. I was trying to figure out.
It's Polly the polymorphed parrot pirate.
Polly. He's like, yeah, Polly the polymorphed. That's his famous name. He's like, oh, Polly. Oh, another day, another dollar spent on this terrible ale. We should tell Luigi that he could do better if he just pissed in the glass. He just like drains the ale.
Oh boy. Yeah, seems like we got a real winner here, eh, kids?
Let this be a lesson to you.
If you don't take your studies seriously, that's gonna be you.
In a van down by the river.
Koraz is gonna, probably purchase another ale and step over to the table and be like, "Oh man, if you guys taste this stuff, it's kind of like piss."
He looks up. He's like a little startled. Like you've caught him off guard because like and you can see when you get close, he is 3 or 4 or 5 sheets to the wind. Like he's gone. This is not his first. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You must have me mistaken for somebody else."
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my friends about this beer.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I've had too many drinks.
That's cool.
He's doing that thing when you're in a bar and like some other guy's like trying to talk to you and you're like, oh no.
Wait,
Talk to you? Do you want someone to talk to?
Like, yeah, this beer does taste like piss, doesn't it?
It does. It's great. I love it.
Have you imbibed piss?
Me?
Yeah, Ichabod's looking. Yeah, he's looking. You said it tasted like piss. He's like, you
I've
must
been
have
on this.
tasted it to compare it.
I've been on this astral sea a long time, my friend.
Flashbacks to investigating the toilet in the previous episode.
That's right. It all's coming together.
So yeah, I guess if this guy did talk to us though, and kind of overheard us and was like, oh, then maybe I would engage him and see if he is who we think he is.
Okay. So he'll like kind of like motion like to one of the stools. He's like, "Why don't you come by and talk? It's been a while since I've talked to somebody new. I've been around here as the same old faces, day in and day out."
Yeah,
Hey.
sure.
You're Commodore Crux. We got your name from I forget, Captain Elena.
I can't say the last name. I can't even say every time I mess it
or
up.
Trell, something
There's an
like
R,
that.
there's an S, and
Yeah. Yep.
he's like, he looks a little bit like taken aback, and he narrows his eyes like, "What's this about?"
Do we have anything that we took from the astral elf ship? I'm trying to remember anything that we could like show to be like it's about this, or probably not, huh? Nothing for dramatic effect.
You have like a lot of mind flayer stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some mind flayer stuff.
I guess maybe I'll say, something about it. It has to do with we're curious about the astral elves. This drunk guy. Let's just bring up his trauma right away.
It's our trauma too. They killed our planet.
That's true.
Do you say that out loud?
Well, I don't know if Koraz said what he said.
That's true.
so-
That's fair.
I guess Koraz probably does have a habit of speaking like his thoughts out loud, on accident. So probably he was like, oh yeah, it's about the astral elves. They, Oh man, was that a good idea to mention that?
We hear you hate them, and I hate them too. They seeded our planet. I think Placebo would be very direct if anyone opened the door at all, so.
He looks at you, Placebo, and then he looks over to Ichabod. Ichabod, are you in the vicinity? I know your camera's kind of like... having
Yeah,
some
sorry.
trouble. No, you're good.
Yeah, he came back. He's still carrying his empty glass because he doesn't really understand the protocol. So he's just kind of standing there with his glass and has been listening.
He kind of like slams his fist on the table and he says, "You're from Macopia."
Yes.
Yes. I'm somewhat of an ambassador of our sadly now imperiled world, and this is my sister Placebo, who has been on many an adventure and happened to be home. We both were home when the Astral Elves attacked, and now we are in desperate need of help in any sort of attempt to rid our planet of their foul plants and seeds.
He fishes his bulky hand into like his jacket and he pulls out this like ornate filigreed pipe and starts to like, you know, tamp in some tobacco. And while he's doing this sort of like action, like almost absentmindedly, he's like, "No, not astral elves. That's too simple. Not all astral elves are the problem. It's the Xaryxians, the Xaryxian Empire." Just bite down the pipe.
Oh no. We've encountered many things that want to kill us. Are you suggesting there's yet another?
No, I'm suggesting that you need to be more specific when you're dealing with this type of problem. It's not the astral elves, it's the Xaryxian Empire. That's an astral elf empire. And he starts to like, I was trying to make a rhetorical point, but...
What? I think what he's saying is maybe we're being a little racist, and we have to learn from our mistakes, and it's just certain astral elves who are rude that we don't like, not all astral elves.
Okay. I think that is fair. It was Captain Elena who said that you hated astral elves, so maybe she should get the rhetoric and be taught the proper terminology.
The woman did have her flaws.
Yes, she was a bit grumpy.
Commodore Crux. If there is an empire of evil astral elves or conquering astral elves, are there other astral elves that may join our cause against the black sheep of the astral elves?
He kind of starts to puff on his pipe. He's got a little thing going with it, and he's like, "That's a complicated question, but..." And he looks side to side. The glass is starting to wear off his eyes a bit. "We shouldn't be talking out loud. You see, I hate to tell you this, but a few days before your planet was seeded, the elves, the Xaryxians, they came to the rock and they told every one of us captains that nobody was to interfere. And if any one of us did, there'd be the price to pay. So everyone, including me, like cowards, we stayed away and let it happen. But I'll tell you this, I doubt that we're alone. There's probably some Xaryxians staying behind, observing us. We need to go to my ship."
You know, I thought these guys were a-holes before, but now that's even worse. They came here to tell you all to stay out of it? Rude.
We would love to visit your ship. We had quite the string of misadventures en route to the rock, and we are still recovering. We rented some rooms. Would we be able to maybe speak at length in the morning aboard your vessel?
He thinks for a second. He's like, "Well, I haven't left dock in ages. See, the thing is, my ship, the Second Wind, I I've been leasing it out to another captain. She'll be in dock tonight, tomorrow, maybe another couple days. But I don't think we should wait long. Well, you can see her first thing in the morning. But don't tally. Don't tarry, don't tarry.
Don't tarry and
sleep,
don't
Allie.
dally.
I'm drunk. And so he'll
And
kind
how
of
much-
like he'll raise his hand up, order another beer.
Does he seem like he will try to kill us if we go to his ship?
The other
That is-
captain?
No, I'm asking if he
Oh.
seems like he's going to try to kill us. If this Commodore Crux is trying to lure us to his ship to do us harm.
If the Commodore Crux is gonna kill you.
Yes.
Give me an insight
I'm
check.
not asking him. I'm asking you what my impression
Yes,
might be.
yes. Give me an insight check.
Okay.
And I apologize, I'm unfortunately trying to multitask work, but
Oh, it was a 15.
15. He seems on the level.
Okay.
He seems too drunk to be deceptive.
I do not think this one will try to kill us. I'll say out loud to everybody.
No, but I feel as though I will be of more sound mind in the morning. I will have more abilities to perhaps parse out our next step of the plan, and even if he does not plan to attack us, it seems like wherever we go, someone shows up to cause trouble. And
Oh, yes,
And
I wasn't suggesting we go right away. I just was saying I don't think he'll try to kill us in the morning.
oh, well, that is good news. A nice change of pace.
Okay, so Crux will drink himself into a... Actually, you know what's going to happen? He's not going to drink himself into a stupor. I'm going to change that. He goes to order the beer, like I said. But then Luigi kind of like... He probably sends a waiter or something. So the server comes over with the beer, and he says, "Belay that order. I need a clear mind tonight." And he kind of like settles himself up and he says, "I'll tell you what, I stay here too, but I'll actually stay here as well. We can make our way out in the early morning." And he grabs this musket the guy kind of propped in the corner, this large, basically rifle, and his pack and everything, and he just kind of like makes his way towards the stairs. Kind of stumbles a bit, but you can tell, like, maybe he's got a little pep in his step after the conversation. And we will take a long rest.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Koraz probably stays behind and has a drink or two before going to bed. But
Fair enough. Anyone else want to do anything tonight for the long rest?
No, I think
No.
Placebo will do what Odo does in Deep Space Nine. It's just turn into liquid and rest.
doesn't he
Oh
have
my
a bucket?
gosh.
Doesn't Odo have a bucket that he sleeps
He
in?
has
Does
a
have a
bucket.
bucket, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've got to watch Deep Space Nine again. It's so good. Okay, cool. So we'll take a long rest, and what's going to happen now is you will all level up. So if you have set yourself up in D&D Beyond, you can take a long rest, but also you can go ahead and import your characters. I don't know if everyone knows how to do that. Does everybody know how to do that?
I have never done it.
I will just do
Right.
it for you, and we'll hope that this works out.
I think you just
Okay.
click on next to your name on your character sheet, right? And then click on import character? Or...
Yeah, I started you, Koraz.
Oh, okay.
Oh. And I don't know, this might mess up your token or something, but who cares? Let's go for it. Ichabod, I'm going to import you.
It kept my token. It kept
Yay.
the image for me.
Cool. And then I'm assuming, so you did it, Placebo, I see level
Yeah.
6, and then Zephistopholes, Alex didn't. I'm going to import you. Boop. Okay, so everyone should be updated. You should all be rested. If you're not sure, double check your character and everything, but it looks like.
I
Oh, you
shouldn't
know
have
what?
all these hit dice though, so I'm getting rid of 3 of them.
Okay, go ahead and give yourself a long rest on top of that because it looks like even though it imported your character data, it didn't update your hit points, which is interesting. Oh, that's because never mind. Yeah. All right.
So, as a part of the long rest, I'm going to use my cooking utensils to make some cooked treats. So I can do have 3 of those. Basically, on a turn, you can use a bonus action to get 3 temp hit points. So I think I'll give one to Placebo. I'll give one to Koraz.
Give one to
And-
Teddy. Keep him around. Bribe him.
I'll let him know I got a snack in my pocket if he gets hungry later. So you have one of those.
Cool.
And what does that do?
You can they last for 8 hours, and you can use a bonus action to get 3 temp hit points.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That is cool. It's one of the new Tasha's ones, right?
I think that's where it's from.
I'm going to eat mine right away. And just have those temp hit points right off the bat. It looks very tasty. Is it made of fish?
Yeah, I used the little freebie fish that.
The day old fish.
It's like one of the junk fish that you catch. Cool. It's barely edible, but it's delicious.
I like it very much.
Very cool. So that is that. I am going to take this opportunity, take 1 minute to tell my coworker that they can license this thing for work. I may have to text him, but that's okay. I got the first message off. So that's that. So I apologize. I've been trying to multitask some launch stuff going on with a product. I've got work going on here.
Just don't tell your coworker she can take a long rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a long rest.
Don't get your signals crossed.
No, because it's 9:15. He definitely can't take a long rest. He's gonna take that. He's gonna have to take a point of exhaustion, actually.
Yeah. No hit dice for them.
I'll just say this: it's hard being the CTO for a small medtech company. So he's working hard tonight. But anyway,
Kudos to you, coworker, wherever you are.
Good. She took a lot. I'll probably be working after too, so that's fine. You know what? Sometimes you gotta do stuff. It's cool. So let's go ahead and move on. So you've taken a long rest. It is 9:15. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna kind of like kick things up and say, hey, you do your morning, you do your routine, you have your snacks. Your Umbra Hulk buddy Teddy has been in time. How much do y'all want Teddy as a companion? I'll just put it that way, because I
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 9.
Yeah, more and more I want him.
I would say Koraz is at an 11.
Even if he just stays on the ship and
Like Koraz
you
just
know.
wants to stare into his eyes, like mournfully.
Yeah.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you have Teddy as a companion, and he may die, just so you know, because there's gonna be combat and such. He's not gonna ever level up, but he's an Umbra Hulk, so it's fine. I'll have to think through the combat encounters going forward. We'll take turns. What we'll do is just kind of I'll let you all tell me what you think you should be doing roughly, and I'll just kind of navigate him. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, anyways, so Teddy will be sitting down. He's actually having a conversation. No, he's not having a conversation anyway. He speaks up and hold. He's just sort of sitting and drinking more beers, just nonstop, just boom, 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 just pounding them. And he's eating this big feast that Luigi has brought up, and maybe Luigi's talking to him in Umbra Hulk. He's like blah, 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 whatever horrible language that would sound like, some kind of strange guttural grindy noise. And it's similar. I would say it's probably similar to Thrycreen in that it's a lot of clicks and mandibles and such, but a totally different structure, so you can't really understand it. But like outsiders, you might think, oh yeah, you know, it's an insectoid type person making noises. But Luigi is sort of repeating back, and he's come up with a way to like communicate because he's a big old beholder that runs a bar on an asteroid in outer space. So he's got a lot of skills. And then you'll see that also down there is our friend the GIF, Mr. Commander Crux. And Commander Crux looks a lot better this morning. He's standing straight. He doesn't have the glassy look in his eyes. He has his musket that he's been polishing and like kind of like, you know, setting all the, you know, stripping it down and getting all the parts ready on a table. And he has a few grenades sitting on the table as well. And he's got, what else do these things carry? He's got some stuff. He's got a bunch of weapons that he's like getting together. He's very like organized with his weaponry. And he's got the pipe. He's having an early morning puff at it. And he'll be the first to greet you and just say, "Oh, sorry to sleep in a little bit, huh? Well, we're ready to go."
All right, lead the way, good sir.
I will. I'm excited to show you and what's going on my ship and take you aboard and teach you the ways of our my crew. And it's been a while since I've commanded, but I can feel it coming back again. So on our way. And he'll just make a brisk path to the door.
I will salute with my pseudopod. Follow.
If there's a chance to like kind of chat with him as we walk to his ship, Ichabod would kind of ask about who the temporary captain is and just a little bit about the circumstances as to why he like wasn't on his ship, and just try to learn a little bit about him, but not like grill him, but just in a very conversational way.
Cool. I'm hoping my computer won't crash. I keep tabbing between things and like switching between desktops. So I'm gonna try. He'll say, "Well, you know, her name is Fel Ardra. She's a tiefling, a smuggler, but don't hold that against her. I think that there's, if you ask me, a heart of gold underneath that prickly exterior. So, thing is, she's been leasing my ship, and she still has a little bit of time on the lease. So we're gonna have to convince her to, sort of cut it short, so to speak."
Is she a spelljammer?
Yes, she's the Spelljammer.
Ah. Will she remain on the ship then, if even once her lease is up, or do we need another spelljammer?
Well, my
before
hopes...
we can...
No, my hopes is that we'll convince her.
Ah. I can be quite convincing, especially if, you know, you can give us any idea of what, you know, what motivates her, what might make her wish to stay. Does she have a vendetta against a certain empire as well?
No. She doesn't have any experience. That's from a different life of mine. Not really something I want to get into. But Fel Ardra, what motivates her? She tell you that it's money. But I think that if you really get to know her, that there's something good, a justice underneath her. I think that you might be able to convince her about the righteousness of our path, trying to do something good. Stop
very
this
well.
Xaryxian nonsense.
Indeed.
And so he's kind of walking, and you're, you know, maybe beside this GIF. He's a big fellow, and you could tell he's like pressed his uniform, and his sash is all like ironed out and looks nice, and like he's kind of made an effort to look a little more presentable. And you'll get walking down the street. You're walking down the street, kind of like in the early morning, and I guess like what's that like on an asteroid? I guess it would probably still feel a little bit like night. I don't think there'd be like, you know, the sun's coming up or something. You know what I mean? Maybe you're like angling towards the sun a little bit, get a little bit more solar light, but it's still pretty dark, relatively speaking. There's not as many people on the streets, and I need to know who has a passive perception higher than a 14 or 14 or higher.
Zeph does 15.
Zeph, the little like insect hairs in the back of your neck, like and you just get the feeling that you're being watched. And you notice a shadow dart behind somewhere and another one. Like, you get all the vibes. You're being tracked.
I will use my Thrycreen telepathy to let everyone in the group know that.
Oh dear.
Do you tell?
We went like
Crux?
8 hours without someone trying to kill us.
I don't think I'm gonna let. I'm just gonna let my immediate party members know, and I'm gonna tell them that I'm going to try to fall back and use my camouflage to see if I might be able to like get the drop on whatever that thing is. So I kind of want to pull back and then sort of, I don't know if there's like a building or a little bit of terrain that I can just camouflage into. I want to try to do that.
Oh yeah, there's lots of buildings. There's a lot of rocky terrain, and it's also, like I said, kind of still dark. So you can change your carapace to match the surroundings. So you're going to get advantage on a stealth check, no problem. Give me that stealth check now. And about how far back do you think you're hanging back, ballpark? Block or two, or
yeah, probably like a block or two. Like I want to keep them in my eyesight, but also I'm hoping that I'll be able to see the thing follow in behind. So okay, it looks like the thing's working out. 25.
Cool. Yeah, I had a theory that your character sheet wasn't synced after you updated it, or something went wrong there. Like there's, how it like prompts you to like update.
Oh
it
yeah, I took it back to 5 after I realized it wasn't supposed to be 6, so it probably broke it earlier.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, it's 25. So you meld, and you practically meld into the wall. Like you're just like fully camouflaged, like no problem. It's the dark of night, the camouflage, you're hidden. And what are you doing? Are you gonna hang? Are you like trailing the party, or are you hanging back, like pausing to like watch?
Basically like pausing to watch until I can see this thing moving forward.
Yeah. So you do that, and they make it another block, and because you've so expertly stealthed out, and the crew's going, and like Commander Crux is like, he doesn't know anything, so he's just like, well, blah, 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 blah. And he's just being like loud and obnoxious, and like he's walking tall, he's practically marching, like his big hippo body. And you see a couple of cloaked figures, 2 cloaked figures walking behind the party, and the cloaks are kind of this dark red that would strike you as familiar. Reminds you of your astral elf friends, the Xaryxians. And they're trailing the party carefully, quietly, kind of ducking in the alleyway, stepping back out again, but they're following. And they pass you, and what situation, there's these 2 maybe a block away from you now, or I guess up to you how you want to react to it, but they're basically like, think of it as like they're basically 2 to 3 blocks behind the party. Maybe like 120 feet or something like that behind the party.
So I think I will
closing.
start to close the distance between myself and them and start following pretty close behind them.
Okay. For the rest of you, because you know that there's something going on, you maybe notice that Zeph slipped away. What about Teddy? Does Teddy know what's going on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I have an ability because of my psionics to like speak with. Let me see here. Because I was gonna say, I think I can speak psychically with like one of my friends at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Zeph was gonna hang back, I probably would have like opened up that to kind of keep a communication going, so he could let us know what he's seeing. I'm trying to find that skill here, features and traits.
Okay. Yeah, I think it sounds right. I am moving us to a new map if my computer doesn't blow up, because I've got a lot of things going. So this is the Rock of Brawl.
Here it is. Yeah, it's telepathic speech, right? It says You choose one creature that you see within 30 feet of you, and you and that chosen creature can speak telepathically with each other while you are within 3 miles of each other, and that lasts for 6 minutes.
Okay, cool. So you got that with Zeph?
So yeah, I would say probably when he went to go off, I probably would have done that. I don't know if he would have seen those people or been able to communicate within 6 minutes, but
I think so. 6 minutes, that's a long time-ish. If you were being very coordinated with it, I think 6 minutes you'd probably find. But maybe like 3 or 4 minutes before you notice them walk past you, Zeph. So if you want to like sound out to your party what's going on, you could.
Yeah, I'll give them an update on like how many there are, at least of the ones that I see. And I think I'll let them know. I'm gonna try to distract them.
Okay. So I'm gonna place the party on here. I guess I'm missing the Umbra Hulk. Hold on a second. I gotta go find him. He's not in the friendly NPC slot. Yeah, I'll move him down.
Oh.
Anyone's tuning in, the party has convinced me that they can have a pet Umbra Hulk. No,
he has an intelligence of 9. He's not a pet.
That is true.
He's a
He has an
friend.
intelligence of 9. And where did I lost him? Oh, I put him in commoners. That's not right. So we got an Umbra Hulk. It's so big. We got an Umbra Hulk. We'll I'll name him properly later, but Teddy the Umbra Hulk, he's up at the front, I guess, and everyone else you can kind of position yourself how you like. And I'll put the 2 cloaked figures. And man, my computer's chugging. Okay, so these 2 cloaked figures, they're kind of like walking behind. And so Zeph, you can sort of position yourself however you would position yourself. Because like, you know, how you kind of imagined it, like if you're like 10 feet behind them, or if you were, 30 feet, however you want.
yeah, and I would say I'll probably let my friends know what Zeph said, about how many there are and that he's going to cause a distraction. I don't know that I'm going to tell our hippo friend, because I have this feeling that he would literally say out loud, "Oh, we're being followed!" Oh! So I don't think
That's 100% what I was gonna do.
I don't think I'm gonna do that. But I will tell Ichabod and Placebo what Zeph said and what's going on, and to like be ready for a distraction and be ready to move on some people who are following us.
And I will try to act very casual, but sort of like how when you are walking out of a store and you think, oh, does it look like I'm shoplifting? And then you try to act casual, so it actually looks like you're shoplifting. It's like this really awkward, I'm acting casual as I'm walking
I'm just
down the
putting
street.
my own chapstick back in my pocket.
Exactly. It's my phone. See, it's my phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think I'll probably let our Umbra Hulk friend know this as well. Telepathically.
He has no reaction.
Teddy.
I think Ichabod, he would kind of understand that the telepathic message didn't get through to the Commodore, so he's not gonna be the one to tip his hand. But as he's talking, he might say something like, "Is there, is there any concern we might have for, making a more circuitous route? Is walking here in the open a bad idea, perhaps?"
And are you able to hear me okay? At this point, I feel like I'm kind
We
of...
can hear you. Yeah,
we can.
video
Yeah.
looks a little choppy, but I heard you.
Yeah, my computer is like freaking out because I have a bunch of extra stuff open that I don't normally keep open. Okay, that seems a little better. All right, I'm also gonna close Twitch. Yeah, Twitch. All right. So you're sort of like, you're saying that to, I'm sorry, to Crux? To like, hey,
Yeah,
or
again,
to
just
the-
sort of surreptitiously saying like, how dangerous is it? Should we be maybe, being a little bit, take a more circuitous route to his ship, and just kind of hinting that maybe we should be cautious without saying, "Hey, we're being followed."
Right. And he'll sort of say, well, I mean, this is my hometown, but you're right. They're spies. We have to be pretty careful. Back in my day, we used to always have code names. And he starts to like kind of like riff on like this like old yarn. And as he does that, two figures step in front of you in the hall in this alleyway.
My code name is Lone Locust of the Night.
And at this point, so Zeph, you wanted to distract these two in the back, right? So I'm gonna let you kind of address that first, and then we'll deal with like initiative and whatnot.
Basically, what I want to do is I want to drop a fog cloud on them, and then like run basically around the corner and like make noise, make suggestion, like, hey, like you know we're going down this way, and have them be able to hear my footsteps of withdrawal or retreat down this alleyway in hopes of drawing them that way, or at least giving enough pause for the. I don't know that there's like another two guys up ahead there, but that's what I was intending to do.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'll say what we'll do is basically you're gonna have effectively like a surprise round. You're gonna cast this fog cloud. They'll immediately be like distracted or whatever, and then you can run around making the noises. All of that can happen in the same action, and then I think at that we'll settle that with initiative at that point. So go ahead and cast the fog cloud. Just to burn the spell slot. That's web.
That's not the right one.
It's okay. It's the same level. It's fine. Doesn't really matter.
It is the same level, but I wanted to get the.
Oh, the template.
I want the
Well,
template. Actually, no, it's a first level. It's first level.
Okay.
I gotta take.
Yeah. Take it back. Yep. So I don't know that does it make the template if you throw it from D&D Beyond.
Oh, maybe not.
That's okay. What's the shape?
It's a 20-foot cube. So
cube. Okay.
maybe
20
like
foot.
ish.
And like I'm like this. Is that 20-foot cube? 20 on each side? Oh, that's 20 by 16. You know what?
That works.
Use yours. Mine's messed up.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Mine was any better.
Son of a gun. Okay, so here we go. I'll draw it. I got it. Why is it letting me do 0.9? Why would it do that?
Something like that.
Yeah, when you gotta get really precise.
So yeah, so this is the middle. This is different than when you cast the fog cloud in the like in the room where it kind of like was all contained and like it made this big like basically persistent like it kind of cut the corners and everything. This is the middle of the alleyway, so this is just like they're instantly shrouded in this like cube of fog, and then you can run around basically making noises and like clattering things or whatever. And that's it. Initiative time. Oops. Everyone is in fog cloud.
Oh
So-
no!
A massive fog cloud. It's actually 20-foot cube seems smaller than I was thinking.
Well, I feel like it's a big map, so.
That is true. It is a bigger map. So you may roll yourself in. In Zeph. You come
Nice.
first.
Oh my!
Oh, actually, I haven't heard about Koraz yet. Koraz.
I
Here's your roll.
I did roll. It didn't come through. Okay.
Let me see if it did. Was it much better than that? Because I can adjust it.
It was only one better than that, so it's fine.
It mathematically, yeah, got it. Okay. So Zeph, you're up first. So you kind of turn the corner. You're making all this noise. You know there's two people in there, and you can see this one, I believe. Well, maybe not. You have 10 feet of blind spot
10
sight?
feet of blind sight, yeah.
Okay. So you know there's a fog cloud there. You know there's two in there, but you can't see them directly or sense them.
So this is a surprise round?
Yeah, well, I was going to say the spell cast was your surprise round.
Oh.
Now they know what's going on.
Well, I'll just play it the way I was going. 30. basically using my whole action, I guess.
Okay. And you're just intentionally like crashing into stuff and like making noises.
Yeah, kind of like this way, like making sounds like we're changing our pattern.
Okay. Cool. I did not start the combat. Now I started it, and now anything else from you, Zeph?
Nope, that should be it.
All right. It is the Umbra Hulk's turn, and the Umbra Hulk is going to look around for like inspiration, and of course, there's only one person who speaks in his head. Looks right at you, Koraz.
And I'm gonna say, "Go get him! Give him the Hypnotoad action."
So it's gonna go. Teddy's gonna go running up, and it only gets 30 feet. That's sad. And I think it's going to. Does it have a reach? Maybe no reach. It wouldn't matter anyways. And so it's just gonna just dash right up in front of these two, and then these two astral elves are like unsheathing their long swords, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And like this Umbra Hulk comes running at them. And then we'll go to the elves. So the first elf that's going to take an action is one of the ones in the cloud, and it is going to run your direction. And it'll get 30 feet and see you, Zeph, and it's going to, they went this way, and it's going to keep chasing you.
Nice, I think.
Quick, cut through the bistro.
All right, and then our Astral Elves, this one's got the long sword. He sees this like Umbra Hulk come flying up on him, and so he is going to, he's gonna longsword it. So he's just gonna try to stab Teddy to death. Maybe I can deal with this problem, right?
Yeah, we'll have a pet for like
Yeah.
half a session.
The first one bounces off the hide, and the second one finds up in between the plates, and does little sticks in, and some kind of like brown goo kind of like comes spurting out. Takes 8 points of damage. I gotta figure out how we're gonna deal with like healing and stuff. Oops, I killed him.
We can heal him, right? He's a creature.
I mean, yeah, but does he like get long rests and stuff?
Oh.
I have to look at the rules for this. So he just sort of like, he long swords it a couple times, and then he runs to the other side and like tries to flank it. And then Placebo, you're up.
Okay. Let me see. I'll be like, no, not Teddy. I'm going to run forward. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I can move 40 feet, 45 feet even. So
Wow.
I can get up to him anyway. And I'm going to try to smack him with my quarterstaff.
All right.
So 25.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay. For 9 bludgeoning. And I will try to smack him again with the extra attack. 16.
Just hits.
All right. It's nice to actually be able to hit something instead of staring into the eyes of a creature the entire time.
Oh, I guess I should have had him do that stare check. I'll do it next time.
And then I just will use my bonus action to unarmed strike.
Okay.
Like with my flabby.
Oh,
That's a crit.
There we go. I am protective of my new friend. So 13.
Yeah, this guy comes around and he kind of like kings off the side of the creature, slices through a joint, and he's turned around to face it, and then you just like beat the shit out of him. He looks real bloody. And blood's coming out behind the mask and like, trickling down to the chin. And then Ichabod, you're up.
you might be muted.
He's just moving silently.
I was muted. Yes, Ichabod moves up, casts Tasha's Hideous Laughter on the Astral Elf behind Teddy.
Okay.
So you got to beat a DC 14 Wisdom.
And does this count as like a charm or anything? No. Okay. All right. So, fails. What happens?
So he falls to the ground in a fit of laughter. He is prone and incapacitated. Because basically Ichabod comes up and says, "We were just talking about code names, and I have one for you. It's called bug food."
He falls to the ground. And he's like, you could see like the mask shaking and like this peal of like hysterical laughter, like high pitched. And
I
that's the one
never
that's
get
next
your
turn.
jokes, brother. They just don't.
Nice.
I don't understand.
Do I get a saving throw at the end of my turn or anything?
I think it does get to repeat at the end of each of its turn. Let me see.
Yeah, at the end of his turn, each time it takes damage. So it falls to the ground. He's prone. At the end of his turn, he kind of like, wait a minute, that joke doesn't make any sense. And then he shakes it off. But he's still prone. Bad news. And then the Commodore Crux says, "It's the elves!" And he pulls out his musket and just this cannon shot against the guy next to you, Placebo.
I think it's the Xaryxian Empire, not the elves.
It's the Xaryxian!
We learned some lessons, and we need to keep it going.
He misses. So this is like giant musket ball just whizzes right past your head. And then with amazing speed, he loads it again. Like you're just blown away by like the military proficiency here. Just like and like just like loads it up and shoots a second time. And then this time,
Have another beer.
Maybe we should have warned him that they were out and about. We're all ready for it. He's like, "What's going on?"
Musket ball shoots in and like tears up like through one of the stalls that someone's like abandoned and out of the. And once the fighting started going down, a sign explodes. Charge! And he's gonna run in. All right, Koraz.
All right, Koraz is going to cast Mind Sliver on this guy here.
Okay.
And it says he must succeed on intelligence savings throw of 14, or he'll take 2d6 psychic damage and subtract 1d4 from their next savings throw.
Nice. So, ooh, a crit.
Pretty sure
nice.
they passed the savings throw.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your role. I didn't hear for the
Hooray.
astral. I was
Look,
like, wait a minute.
I'm playing the game too, so
Oh.
we should all.
Good
Yay,
job,
Winston!
DM.
Nice
Oh,
job.
the DM did good. Yeah.
Hooray!
I thought
I
it
still
was
get
an
half, right?
attack roll, not
No,
a save.
no, it's a cantrip, so
Oh, it's
nothing.
cantrip. Okay,
Yep.
Aw.
So,
Cool.
wah, wah, wah.
that's too bad.
And I'm just gonna be like, after casting that and it going off bad, I'm just gonna like kind of like a Homer Simpson stepping back into the hedges, just kind of step back one square here.
All right, that'll bring us the other elf that's been smoked, and again, it's gonna do the only sensible thing. It's gonna step out, run out of the cloud, and just kind of like deal with the fog. Zeph sees you over there, like crash into a trash can or something, and it's gonna keep going. It's gonna charge forward.
A giant hand in that building.
Is there?
There
Oh,
is.
there is.
Really
I don't.
creepy.
Is that like canon? I need to like look that up.
I don't know. It looks like one of those hand chairs, but
Yeah, it's like Bigsby's giant hand. This
Oh,
this
man.
map. I don't even know what's in here. I didn't even look at it. It's like there's no way we'll have time to like mess around with it too much.
I want to go to that place.
I'll look it up. It's probably something from the Rock of Brawl that I just haven't read yet.
Where do you see a hand? I don't even see it.
It's up here.
Oh, I
Zeph.
was looking in the bistro.
Zeph, you're up.
We need to name the bistro just for SCPs.
Zeph's gonna keep running. I'm just gonna keep running down that alleyway since I've got them following me.
Okay, so we'll play that out, kind of like theater of the mind a little bit, and just say, are you running full speed or are you letting them catch you?
full speed. Like my plan before knowing that the other two were there was just to like get them off the heels of the party. So that's basically I'm just gonna give them the runaround in the city a bit. At some point, I'd probably try to dive into an alleyway and like camouflage or something like that. But I'm gonna
so you're
lead them away
not
a bit
trying
first.
to lose them right now. You're trying to lead them.
I'm trying to
right?
lead them right now. Yeah.
So they're just like huffing behind you, and they're like, "Stop him!" And they're waving their long swords, and their cloaks are fluttering. They look quite foolish, and you are going to be easily able to outpace them. But we'll see what they do about that because they're not totally stupid. Umbra Hulk is going to get a bug snack, so it's going to take a. It's going to do.
Diddy!
Here it goes. All these attacks are with advantage. So here comes the claw. Was it 2 claws? 2 claws, yeah. Here comes the claw. And here comes the mandible.
Breakfast time, Teddy.
No crits. Oh, that one misses. But the 2 claws hit. So we'll just do boop and a boop. I feel like he was hitting y'all a lot harder. There you go, 20 points of damage. So he just starts to like thrashing this guy on the ground, or this person on the ground, and like he's screaming like "Ah!" Like blood slipping everywhere. It's quite horrific. You're like, ugh.
Oh, Teddy, you're so awesome.
And then he's gonna take half his movement to like get off the ground. And unfortunately is not paying, like it's like panic moment, like an Umbra Hulk is like thrashing him, does not pay too much attention to what's going on with the Umbra Hulk. However, it gets advantage on this saving throw because it's an and he will fail.
Nice.
And he will roll a d8, which is 5, dang it, 6, 8. There we go. And he rolled a 3, so he's gonna pull out his longsword or ready his longsword for an attack. Then the eyes just like start to like fixate on him, and he just like it just freezes.
Oh,
Hypno-toad. Hypno-toad.
I know how that feels.
And then this one next to you, Placebo, is going to say he sees that his friend is getting thrashed by the Umbra Hulk, but he actually doesn't care about the Umbra Hulk. He's going to say, "This is for the Starmoth," and then he's going to stab at you, Placebo. 2 long swords.
As if destroying my planet wasn't enough.
12 and 15.
You are ineffective.
Oh no, not even the 15.
No.
So it just kind of goes in there, and you're just too hard to hit. You're like a little slimy person, and it's just can't find connection. And then it's your turn.
Oh, I will try to hit him back, and I will say, "This is for Mucktopia," and see if I can. Oh no, I'm gonna start missing.
That's a
too.
miss.
I should
We're all
really
missed.
not get so worked up. It interferes with my ability to hit. Oh,
That's a crit.
Nice.
I have to focus. Oh man, that's a crit. I
That's
rolled a
still
1
good.
and a 2. But all right, and then I will bonus action unarmed strike and try to hit him.
Okay,
15?
just misses.
Oh, Well, I will save the final kill for you, brother.
Ichabod, you're up.
Which one looks like it's in worse condition? This one or this one?
Definitely the one that just got bonked on the head. So that one's looking pretty bad. So the one that Placebo was beating up.
Okay. He will use a vicious mockery then on that one.
Okay.
So you have to again beat a DC 14, but this time Wisdom saving throw.
I know it seems like something. It's the suspense is just.
I know the way that it froze. Is like,
Dun, dun.
Epic. He's like getting ready to click right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
I don't know, my computer's just so mad at me. I apologize. I really probably should do like a restart, but like it's 9:53, so fuck that. So did anything come through on the roll?
No,
Okay.
the roll did not come through.
Okay, let me try that again then. And if it doesn't go through here, I'll just roll it on my handy dandy table. It rolled, and I failed. Oh, I succeeded. Yeah.
You succeeded.
Okay. And you can tell that
He knocked him to death.
these two are suddenly, and this guy, like he avoids the attack or kind of like shrugs off your insult, and you can see that he's looking down towards the fog cloud and doesn't see any help coming. It's starting to get real nervous, and then Commodore Crux, he really wants to throw a grenade so bad, but he can't. This is not the right time to throw a grenade, and it's like you could see his hands like itching on the grenade.
Oh, do not do that.
And he like steadily takes his long sword instead. He drops his musket and just tries to finish this guy off. So he'll take a couple long sword strikes. There's one. There's two. So 19 and a 9 does not hit, but the 19 will hit and do a whopping 5 damage. He's drunk, guys. Actually, he's not drunk.
Rusty.
He's rusty.
Yeah.
He's like, I normally fight better. It's been a while since I've been not drunk. Sober. What's the
He needs
word?
a beer is the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
I
He's
know
the drunken master.
Right. I was gonna say I know some monks that do better when they've been drinking.
All right, so Koraz, it's your turn.
Yeah, I think Koraz is going to take a step this way, and then he's going to rip a. Let's go with a firebolt that way towards that gentleman, and see if he can knock him out. And
All right.
probably not. I'm gonna miss really
My
bad.
gosh. He is the dodgy one.
We are missing. Yeah, he's dodging a lot. That's the lucky fellow.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's a big fireball, just streaks past again, just crashes up against these rocks.
Good thing nothing here is flammable. Sorry about that, guys. I need a beer.
So I'm gonna sidebar now with Zeph, because Zeph, you're basically out of combat at this point. So you're running through almost. I'm reminded of that Lankmar module where you have to like chase people, and there's like all these little things that happen. And so I think we're gonna do something. We're gonna ad lib. It'll be cool. Just ad lib some mechanics. I'm gonna roll a D100 as you're running through the street, and just gonna like arbitrarily decide what happens based off the number. Best way to do it. Oh, I thought it was 100. That was my brain.
so
That's not how it
too.
works. That's not how it works. I was like, oh, cool. It's like, so it's a 10. So Zeph, you're running through, and you've made your way through like kind of like this alleyway, and now you are coming into like this open stretch of the market where y'all were buying like the herbs and the herbalist kit and like the arrows, and there's all these stalls everywhere. There's plenty of places for you to like knock something over or duck or do any kind of thing. There's lots of obstacles, but nothing in your way. Like you're not like blockaded. So what's your action?
Is there like I don't know, some crates or barrels maybe stacked up near one of the stands that I could like pop up and use as leverage to like get on top of like an awning or something, and like use that to like then jump up onto a roof? Take this rooftop.
Give me an acrobatics check just to make sure you don't like flop on your face. But no problem. It's there's everything stacked around. There's stalls. There's awnings. Like this is like the perfect scenario. You rolled low. I was looking for low. Low is good. I guess I probably should have done the opposite, right? That'd be more fun.
Oh, nice. 21.
21. Yeah. So no problem. So you like vault up over this. Like you know, it's like you ever play like a first person game where you're like Deus Ex Machina or something where like there's clearly like crates stacked in a way that are meant for you to climb up. Like it's like that. You're like, there's all these crates are like perfectly positioned. You just like you just like pop up on the rooftop. Unfortunately, that same thing happens for them. They have the same capability, and we're gonna roll this. I'm taking them out of the combat tracker. So what's going to happen is one of them is going to get smart though. One of them is going to run up and try to like jump up and follow you, and he's climbed up and he's running across the rooftop chasing. And the other one, she pulls out an arrow. She drops her sheathes her longsword, pulls out a longbow, and she's going to fire a couple arrows at you. So we will roll this as actual combat just to kind of like, because the mechanics are there, might as well. These 2 arrows come sipping over your shoulder. The first one is a 14.
Both miss.
Both miss, and 18 misses.
19 is my AC.
Yeah, so the first one fires over your head. Second one bounces off like your shoulder plate or something. Is that you have the new breastplate on? Is that where that is? Or?
Actually, I realized like I tried putting it on, and my unarmored is
actually better.
Still better.
Okay, so it bounces off your carapace. Just the arrow shatters and it like flies off, and you feel like that the arrowhead just like whistles past your antenna. And you've made, you're still probably in shooting range for a little bit because you're on a roof now, but you're making really good distance. And we'll go ahead and do like one more round of that. So like, let's roll another D100. Actually, let's have you roll it. You roll D100. Low is good, high is bad. And I'm just gonna again arbitrarily ad lib what happens. Oh no! So you're running across the roof. And Zeph, as you're running across the roof, you're like, that arrow just shatters off your carapace. And you're like, and you're talking to your kids or something, whatever you're doing. You just step right through the roof of like the second building. Like you hop over and just like this weak spot on the roof, and you just crash into the ground. You'll take a D6 of damage. So you'll take a whopping 1 point of damage. This is the peril you're in. But you're on the ground prone, and you are like trapped under some debris, and like it was like loud and obvious. Like clearly these elves are going to catch up to you in a few minutes or a few seconds even. What would you like to do?
And
like you can hear like the shopkeeper's like, what's going on? And he's like coming out of his like room, and you're splayed out in the middle of the floor.
Maybe do I have to like do anything to like push the debris off, or?
Sure, you could do that. So give me an athletics check. Oh no. Okay, that's fine. I was looking for a 5. You're a strong little ranger.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, no problem. It's a bare minimum. I just want to make it's kind of like the athletics check. Like you can pull the debris off as long as you like roll a 1 or something. So you lift all the stuff off, and you're kind of like dusting yourself, but that takes your full action to get all that junk off of you.
As soon as I'm able, I would start running again, like get back out onto the street.
Okay. So cool. So you can get back out on the street, and as soon as you do, you have actually like inadvertently through luck maybe lost them. So I'm gonna do just like D100 just to see. I'm gonna do D20 to see like if they notice you, because they've noticed you've crashed, right? But would they notice that you've done anything? Yeah. So the one that was firing arrows. So she's kind of staying back, and she sees you step out, and she's going to take a couple shots at you again. And she's going to call out and something in Xaryxian. And I don't even know if I can mechanically hit you. So the arrows are just like flying at you. I mean, obviously I'm not hitting much with 12 and 13. And they're just like shooting off into like down the street, like thunking into like wood posts and things. Like it's like wild. Like they're clearly in rage. They're not just coolly trying to take you down. And we'll come back to that if we need to after that. So going back to the rest of the party, so we're going to go back to the Umbra Hulk. The Umbra Hulk is just, I think at this point, the Umbra Hulk is going to grapple this guy and restrain him. So he's going to do like an athletics check just to like grab him. Oh no, Umbra Hulk.
Never fails as soon as they're on our side.
Yeah.
Like a dozy. What?
Oh, but he tried.
Nice.
Wow.
He's still dazed. Like he might even be able to resist. I think he's still dazed a little bit. So that's technically maybe not even possible. The Umbra Hulk has grabbed him, and so he's now grappled, and that technically takes an action or something. I don't know how that works with like creatures because they have multi-attack. I think it takes the whole action though, and so he's grappled. Umbra Hulk is moving to like time to suppress this shit. And the Astral Elf is just gonna fight back. Actually, this one's off the thing. We'll take him out. Oop, not this one. This is the so this one that you've been beating on, is going to like his mask is like cracked. He's gonna throw his mask off, and you can see this like young, like a young male with like cut features, very angular. Maybe handsome, depending on your interpretation.
I'm an ooze.
You're an ooze. I don't know.
Doesn't really do anything for me.
Sure doesn't do anything. That's like artistic. Whatever. Okay. So, but he, in his hair like starts to flow, and blood's kind of pouring down. He has this sort of like glow about him, and he just like looks at you with this like vitriol, like, "You killed the Star Moth. I will never surrender." And then he's gonna.
I'm really
try to
not
hurt you.
asking you to. I think we're going to try to kill you, actually.
And he's just gonna stab at you a couple times just to do some damage, and he will fail.
Oh, that second one hits.
He'll hit.
Yeah.
So you'll take 2 points of damage. Just like one little ounce of ooze gets sliced off. And
Oh.
Placebo.
That was not nice. I will attack him back.
That's a hit.
Okay. 10 bludgeoning.
He's still up, but you crack him across the face, and whoosh, blood just pours out of his mouth.
I don't understand why you're beating me up because you destroyed our planet. 14 misses?
Misses.
All right. And unarmed strike. Try to punch with my ooze. 19.
Yeah, so you will finish that one off. You crack him in the head.
19 to hit, 7 damage.
Yeah, he had 2 hit points.
okay.
He was dead.
Okay.
So that one is going to go down. And at this point, we'll say that the situation is sort of under control. The Umbra Hulk has sort of taken upon his own sort of, maybe like how the Niyogi trained him, because they like to enslave people and like control them. Like he's like got this guy bundled up and he's ready to capture him. He's bear hugging him. So we'll come out of combat. We still got to resolve whether Zeph escapes and like catches up with you. But what would you like to do at this point with this remaining character?
This guy?
Ichabod
Oh, yeah.
would kind of walk right up and say, good thinking, Teddy. A prisoner, he may have intelligence to share with us. Again, kind of not realizing or forgetting that the Umbra Hulk can't understand a word he's saying.
I'll probably start. I've got a rope. I'll start tying up the Astral Elf that Teddy has, and then I'm gonna give Teddy the food that that Zeph gave me earlier. And just be like, good Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy will kind of like make a little like humming, clicking noise.
A little Scooby snack.
Little Scooby snack. So
I'll say in his mind, there's a lot more where that came from. Just stick with us.
all right. And then Zeph, at this point, you've gotten a couple arrows fired off at you, but you're running through there's many alleyways. Is your idea at this point to kind of lose them?
Yeah, lose them and then try to get back down there by the docks.
Cool. Give me an advantage stealth check, because I'm assuming you have one way or another some way of like stealthing about, either using your camouflage or going through the alleyways. Oh my god, Zeph. Well, an 11's still good. I wasn't looking for a very high number. I need to start upping the DC, I suppose. This is level 6. I was looking for 10. But anyways, so you'll have some trouble. And what we'll play that is not so much that you couldn't lose them, because you're very stealthy. You can literally camouflage. You will eventually lose them, but maybe it takes you like an hour to get back to the ship in a way that you feel comfortable not being tracked. So everyone else, you'll kind of make your way back to the ship, and you're like, "Where's Zeph?"
Oh, maybe we should have. Like, what if he got hurt?
How long does that fog cloud stay up?
Oh, that's a good question.
It would
10
be
minutes,
up
something?
to an hour, but
Oh, an hour. Okay.
So I do think like Ichabod would probably like come up and try to look for him and then find like no traces of him.
Yeah.
Well, I think he must have either they captured him or he led them on a merry chase, but
Was there blood? Did you see blood?
I did not see blood. So I think maybe he created a diversion and led them away. So hopefully he find his way to the Commodore's ship.
That is usually the plan when we separate. No, none of his children were there. Tell us what happened.
It's like a trail of children.
It's like the telephone game. They just relay messages across the rock.
Dad says.
That's not like him. Usually little Jimmy somewhere.
So we can either go look for him, or maybe we get to the safety of the ship and not squander the opportunity that
He's
perhaps.
very good at hiding. So
If there's one thing I know, he's good at tracking too. So maybe we head
yes,
to the ship.
I never play hide and seek with him because he always finds me and I never see him.
Well, the good news is.
Funny, because you could like hide in a bucket, you know.
Maybe that's because I always hide in the bucket. I just
Oh.
Well, the good news is our captive will leave a nice trail of blood on the way. He is considerably wounded, so if Zeph can find his way back here, he can follow the trail of blood.
Yeah, and I think, you know, taking a stroll down the street with an Umbra Hulk carrying an astral elf is just, you know, not suspicious at all.
Just another Tuesday on the Rock of Brawl.
It's the Rock. Yeah. No one will ask questions.
put my mask on him and then he might look different.
Yeah,
No,
he does
Are you
have a-
swapping masks with him?
Oh, he's got the big smiley mask on.
You're like, that one's the plasmoid. So, and kind of like, you know, while you're rounding him up, like the elf will start to like, kind of like, you know, like, go ahead, take me, because as soon as you find out, or as soon as they find out what's going on, they'll be coming for you. You think that we attacked you in the streets because they let us, because they didn't know about this? They knew we were going to do this. They let us do this.
Could you provide the antecedent for the pronoun they, please?
Antecedent means, you know, what does that mean?
It means he is speaking vaguely about some sort of authority, but not explaining who is giving him permission to hound us in the Rock of Brawl.
This Prince Andrew.
Hmm.
And you would know that Prince Andrew of Brawl is like, kind of like I think he's, let me double check, because I think he's the actual leader, but now I'm doubting that. I think they have a complicated structure. But you'll say, yes, Prince Andrew. We are diplomatic emissaries.
Well, maybe he will send someone to negotiate for, your retrieval. If not, I pity you for the position you've put yourself in, knave.
Yeah, like, what do you think you're worth? Judging by your rags, not too much.
I would say yes. The Prince Andrew is actually truly the leader, of the official leader of the Rock of Brawl. There are like a lot of like underbarons and like these sort of like politically important people, but Prince Andrew is officially the leader of this rock. So it'd probably be bad if that's happening.
Yeah, so that would probably make us a little nervous. Would we be aware of that, or would that be something that like the Commodore would need to fill us in? Would be like, oh yeah, Prince Andrew, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I think the Commodore is like, the prince, he justifies everything. The ends justify the means to him. I mean, the means justify the ends. The ends justify the means. Whatever the saying is. If he finds out that we've killed them, we may have trouble.
Well, it is already done. I cannot unkill him.
I mean, we could re-kill this one.
So you're talking about the corpse? You're talking about the one that captured?
This one, the one that I guess are we talking to him while we're carrying him? Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
The Umbra Hulk has him like tied up and like.
It's like a sack of potatoes over his shoulder.
Well, he did not act very.
It sounds like what you're saying is that us keeping you alive doesn't help us at all, which is like not smart on your part, you know.
He spits.
On the other hand, if we need to make any sort of reparations with the prince of this asteroid, perhaps releasing a prisoner could get us curry us some favor. So I think keeping him as a prisoner is probably to our benefit.
Well, the prince is probably just doing what they say so they don't see this place.
Yes, that does seem like sound reasoning. In which case, if we kill all the emissaries that they have sent to this rock, then maybe the prince will also be more inclined to side with us. So
That idea, because if we get them mad and they start attacking this place, then Prince will have to defend this place, and now we have more allies.
So
yes.
I would think that by the time y'all get to the ship, Zeph, you've kind of like had to like lose your tail. You will you'll be able to catch up with them after all this conversation kind of goes down. And we'll say that all this is, not happening in the streets. This is all happening in the ship. And so I'll kind of fast forward to that section, and we're going to wrap the session up here pretty shortly. But I do want to get to a certain point, so we'll go like another few minutes. So Kruk's going to walk you down this. Well, you don't need to like do anything. Just avert your attention. Yeah, you can move yourself to this ship here. So do you see this ship?
Over there.
Yeah, way over here. And he'll walk you down this like dockway with purpose. And you've got your Umbra Hulk with your captive. And you'll see ship after ship of like these really cool, sleek-looking ships. Like there's like a hammerhead shark type ship. There's all these really impressive galleons, different sizes. And he'll walk you down to the end of the dock. At the very, very end, first you'll see the moon dancer, and Captain Elena is trying to arrange repairs. But you'll also see this ship over here at the top with a tree growing out of it. And Krux will say, "There she is, the second wind, my pride and joy."
Oh, I thought you said bride. I think pride and joy makes much more sense.
I mean,
ponders.
They could marry a ship, I guess.
How do you keep the tree alive on your ship? That is a very big tree.
Oh, that's no tree.
Oh.
That's a tree ant.
Oh.
If you look a bit closely, you can see the trees kind of like moving a little bit, and like it has like arms and stuff. Do tree ants have arms? I feel like they do.
They have branches.
They have branch-like arms. It's like an ant, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a non-trademark infringing ant.
Yeah, it's not.
Halflings, not hobbits. Tree ants, not ants.
That's right. Of course, it would be facing the front of the ship, so you probably couldn't exactly see its face, but you could definitely see like its little branches, and it kind of stretches them every once in a while, and moving very slowly, but it's definitely alive. He's like, well, it's rooted into the ship. And it's what produces our oxygen bubble. or I guess it keeps it clean. Cleanest ride you will ever have.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, Placebo's going to go running towards the ship. She thinks that's very exciting.
Is
Hey, hey.
this Ent a Spelljammer?
No. I usually contract a Spelljammer, but currently the ship is leased to Felardra.
Oh, that's right. She is your
She's the
Spelljammer.
captain and the Spelljammer. And so we'll all catch up. So Zeph, you'll come huffing in at some point. How do you make your entrance?
I think he just like nonchalantly, like he had never left, his shows back up. All right, catch me up to speed here, guys. What's with the tree on the boat?
Get your
A
fishing
tree
pole.
ant. A tree ant.
Oh,
I think when I notice Zeph there, I'm just gonna be like, hey, what do you think we should do with this elf?
has he been mouthy?
I mean, he definitely yaps. Me.
Yeah,
Me,
moderately mouthy.
Has he said anything useful?
The usual threats, and he did spit, which is unsanitary, I suppose. But our thought initially is to keep him alive as a bargaining chip, or perhaps to gain information from him. He claims that the ruler of this asteroid is either in league or is being manipulated by the Xaryxians. So we've kept him alive this long. So unless you can come up with a very compelling reason to, kill him now, we might as well continue to lug him around, I would think.
I don't have a compelling. Well, think about this. I mean, that's more fish I have to catch to feed him.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if that's compelling.
I'm sure he can survive, I imagine, a few. He may prove, not of worth thereafter anyway.
Okay, we'll keep him alive for now, but
You see his eyes widen a little bit. It's like, oh, kill me if you must.
Only when it's prudent. Besides, you didn't make the death of our planet quick and painless. Why would we return the courtesy to you?
He just turns the other direction. So Crux will look around and say, once everyone's around, like in front of the ship, he's like, we have to get going. There's no time to waste. And so he's gonna barge in to the the captain's quarters, with all of you behind him, however you would like to go, and he's gonna get Ardra up, and she's gonna say, Crux, what are you doing? This is my ship. I am leasing it legally. He's like, we've no time for that. We have to go. The Xaryxians are coming. They're going to kill all of us. Prince Andrew is in league with them, or is allowing them anyways, and he starts to argue with her. Ardra is this tiefling. She has one of her horns is shaved off or broken off from combat or something, and she is gonna get calm emotions cast on
No,
her.
I didn't mean to do that. I just was looking at it.
Dude, just chill out, Fel. We're all cool here.
Oh, good, man.
And she's gonna be arguing with Crux, but for the sake of playing out how that's gonna go, it's gonna be very obvious that she does not want to relent, and Crux is being insistent, and he's not doing a good job of convincing her. And the point of issue is that he owes her another several months of the lease, and she's preparing for a big smuggling job, and so she feels like she's gonna lose a lot of money if she agrees to give the ship back, and so she's arguing and trying to be basically no, I'm not gonna leave. And the specific amount is, and so he'll say, well, according to the lease, I owe you 400 gold pieces. I'm good for it. It's I don't think so. I think I have a job that's going to make me 3,000 gold pieces. So I think you owe me 400 and another 3,000. And they're just having this back and forth debate.
Oh.
Well, couldn't we leave to go on your mission? That would take us away from the Xaryxians who are here. By the way, my name is Ichabod, and this is my sister and my companions. It's a pleasure to meet you, Captain Ardra.
So she won't even raise her. She won't like shake her hand or anything like that. She'll just say, "What do you mean you want to join my crew? Help me with this? I mean, I'm not even prepared. I don't have all my everything loaded." Give me a persuasion check.
Well, all right.
This will be just the initial you'll help out or whatever.
That's a
Man,
pretty hefty bonus.
That's a very hefty bonus, and she's not initially swayed by that. She's like, "Why should I help you anyways? I don't need you. I've got my crew." What's this about, Crux?
Well, we could tell you a very tragic story of how we have come here and how we are constantly being hounded by threats, especially the Xaryxians, who have begun the process of destroying our planet and seemingly have the ruler of this asteroid under their thumb. We are hoping to survive long enough to find a way to save Macopia, and you are very instrumental in whether we succeed or fail. If you do not allow us to board this ship and follow the Commodore's lead, you are in effect enabling these astral elves in their world-crushing schemes.
The bad astral elves. Just
Yes,
the bad one.
Well, the demonstrative these was referring to the Xaryxians, not all astral elves.
Yes,
I appreciate the sentiment.
Learning
Give
moment.
me a persuasion check. Just a straight up one. Because you're being forthright, right?
Yeah. Man, the same.
The same. She's gonna put her foot down and not let y'all have the ship unless you pay her. She's like, "Fine, pay me 1,000 gold pieces and I'll go away."
I'll put my 5 gold pieces.
Ichabod just looks at Koraz and is like, "We don't know what this transaction is new for us."
I'll pull out that breastplate and be like, "Well, we know a thing or two about smuggling and finding salvage and whatnot. We found this. Look at this. Pretty nice breastplate, don't you think?"
Ooh.
We
It's
also have good
magical.
information. Like if you see a derelict Nautilus or Nautiloid ship out in space, do not stop there. Especially if it's 2 hours from the rock, avoid it.
So she will look at the breastplate and her eyes light up for a second and then they'll go cold. She's like, "Well, I suppose I could take it. I guess if you have nothing else to give me, no other money. Crux, you owe me. How about this? I'll take this, but when you get back with the ship, then I'll take my 1,000.
Well, I could make up the difference with you take me on your boat. I'll get you a bunch of fish, and that's valuable.
She just huffs away with the breastplate. And Crux will say, "Well, I guess, who's flying the ship? You Spelljammer?"
The lone locust of the night. I will fly us. Where are we going?
To Doom Space.
Oh,
Man,
that sounds cheery.
Doom space.
that sounds awesome. Let's do it.
And we will end there. So you will take off from the port, the Rock of Brawl, and all you know at the current moment is you are on the way to Doom Space to figure out something about what's going on with the Xaryxians. And basically, what you get from Crux is, I don't want to step over a bunch of narrative we'll start with, is he has a plan for you that requires going to Doom Space, and he will give you some more details once you get enough away that he feels like no one is scrying him or doing any kind of until he feels satisfied that you've made your way out of the rock.
Can someone actually fly? Can Koraz really fly the ship?
I believe as
I
a
think so.
magic user, I
Awesome.
can. I think I can attune to it and fly.
The hell home, nice.
Yeah, I think that's the way that works. I will triple check because that was one of the things I was kind of like making sure. Is I believe all you have to do is attune to it.
I believe that's what I was reading in the book when you first shared it with us, but
mhm.
I've been a bit.
Yeah, I will triple check that, and if for some reason that is invalidated, then we will retcon what's happening. I don't know, we'll figure it out. You know what? It's
Kidnap a
10:30.
Spelljammer somewhere.
Flapjack
We'll take-
upstairs. I don't know
We'll
where.
take Teddy and just find one.
Then we're like, all right, Teddy, keep Ardra from leaving. She'll be our
Yeah.
enslaved,
Right.
Teddy,
our conscript
Blocks the door.
Spelljammer.
That's what you should have done.
I feel like Teddy is like our like wise guy, like buddy. He's like, I'm making an offer you can't refuse.
You gotta teach him common. That'll be his voice for certain.
I think that would be great. That we can teach him how to speak at least a few words in common.
So we are going to pick up next session, and I will say we are actually the first time we are a little tiny bit off track. We didn't quite complete chapter 4, but I'm going to go ahead and since basically the end of chapter 4 sort of sets up chapter 5, we will be picking up next session with Living on the Edge. That's the chapter title, and we will see where Prox is trying to take you. He's saying he was taking a doom space, but why? And will you make it away from the Rock of Brawl without incident? We shall find out.
Living on the edge.
Yes. So that is all for the session today. I appreciate everyone playing around with or being willing to accommodate some of my issues. I'm doing work in the background, so my computer is pulling double duty, and I'm having to like double check things and tab around, and it pressed it to the edge. I'll put it that way. But thank you
Get
all
on the edge,
for
Winston.
Living on the edge.
yeah.
Wait,
But
watch out! We're about to head into the danger zone.
That's right. That should be the next session. I hope there's one that's. Let's see. Well, anyways, so that said, y'all are in the position now that you are on the second wind. You have Commander Crux, who appears to have a plan. He's got a pep in his step. He is interested in kind of making your way towards this doom space. He's telling me that like once we can properly plan, he'll talk more about it. I just don't want to like dump it on you at like 10:30 at night or whatever. So we'll get into it next session. He'll introduce you to the crew. I'll take some time getting to know First Mate Flinch and Starbow. Starbow is the treant. And we'll kind of carry on and see what all's going on there. So that said, you're fleeing the Rock of Brawl. You don't necessarily think that you're, well, I guess you don't know. All you know is this elf has told you that Prince Andrew approved them attacking you. What does that mean? Does that mean Prince Andrew's working with the elves? Does it mean that Prince Andrew is paid? Was he lying? Who knows what's going on? So we'll find out more as we go. That said, that is all we have for Spelljammer for the night. Thank you all for sticking around and hanging out. If you have not yet come into the Discord channel, please do that. Also, I failed to mention this in the beginning, but we are running Extra Life. So that is going on in November. Alex, did you want to say a little bit about that?
Well, we did have a couple of donations that happened during the stream, so we crossed over $500, which is awesome. That means we're only $80 from one of the pre-game goals, which is if we raise $600 before game day on November 5th, the characters will be able to be at level 6 rather than level 5. And on the 5th, what we are doing is we're playing a 12-hour session of the original Ravenloft module. So we're going to be 12 hours. We're going to do that using the old school Essentials game system. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be 12 hours, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the 5th.
Yeah, I'm excited. I am in that game. I'm playing a gnome thief, and I am extremely excited. I can't wait. I haven't done this yet, but I plan to buy a gnome hat. I just gotta find one someplace. Because I got the beard thing. Imagine with the gnome hat, like I'd just be like there.
That'd be perfect, yeah.
So cool. Yeah, it was fun. OSC is great because you basically roll your stats and then that tells you what you have, and you can fiddle with them a bit. But basically, if you roll great intelligence, it's probably pretty smart to play wizard. If you roll great dexterity, you should be a thief or whatever. I rolled bad in everything except for a little. I was like, oh, actually, that's not true. I rolled decent on intelligence and dex, so that's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm telling you about that. I'm tired. So that is all for the session. Thank you all for hanging out. There's a lot going on in the schedule. My computer is flipping out, so I'm not even going to try to like pull up the schedule and talk about it. But it's in the Discord. Alex keeps up to date. We hang out there all the time. Come see us. And that is all for Spelljammer today. Bye-bye.
We'll go and pass the raid over to Ink and Liar.
Nice.
Thanks, everyone.